This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all,
Just stop.
get real.
Welcome to DBL. A lot of you, and including, I want to get your takes on this, are talking about the president's State of the Union speech that was last night. All right. He began with some tough talk on the war in Ukraine, saying Russian President Vladimir Putin is more isolated than ever and has underestimated the West. His comments were met with a very rare sight in a very divided Congress because both sides of the aisle stood to applaud. Lawmakers from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, were also wearing stickers and pins with the Ukrainian flag showing their support. So the question is, can this war help, and I know that sounds like a weird thing to say because war is always awful, bring our country back together?
I think that was the message that resonated the most for everybody. I thought he did an okay job yesterday. I mean, Biden's not obviously the best. Like, he doesn't speak like Obama, let's just be honest. But he did get up there and say some important things like, you know, let's meet the challenges of our times. I think at a time of war or uncertainty, when presidents usually give their State of the Union speech, that is a great time for them to shine and say something that even when President Trump was in office, there were times that were tumultuous when he had State of the Unions, and he did do his best to unify, and people were happy about that. I know that he brought up his son. You said that he's never emotional enough. He got into brain cancer. He got specifically emotional, like you were asking for, almost like he was listening to DBL.
I was like, are you listening, Mr. President?
And I thought that he really was trying to play on his personal experiences to bring us all together. And I think, even still, Ukraine people in Ukraine, I want to read a lot of people, a parliament member said we're not doing enough. It was a total disappointment. That speech wasn't enough. We're not even in the airspace. They're not asking for boots on the ground. But he did say that starting this evening, we're shutting off all Russian flights coming to the United States. That's a big deal since we were one of the last countries to do so. People have been doing this already. And so I think with that, plus the way that we're shutting off their banks, we're doing a lot besides stepping our foot into a war that we are not prepared for or don't want, at least as Americans, not the actual army, but like us.
Yeah,
right.
Overwhelmingly don't want boots in Ukraine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do have to kind of tread lightly because we are dealing with a person that, for lack of a better term, is a loose cannon. I mean, if you say the wrong thing and kind of escalate things, especially as the leader of the air quotes free world, what he says could spark a chain of events that could lead to a catastrophic end. So he does need to tread lightly. And Lindsay, I really appreciate what you said in terms of like, yeah, he's not the best speaker, but we got the point. Are we going to unite or not? And I mean, this is a question that as a country, I think we're going to have to constantly ask ourselves. Are we going to continue to let YouTube and podcasts divide us.
Right.
Because when you talk to people, when I'm on the road, which I am almost every weekend, you don't say, hey, I'm Al, and they go, Trump. Like, everybody's normal. Everybody has kids they love, and they're worried about their future and want to retire. And this divisiveness is almost boring at this point. I got it. There's a million fault lines to divide us, but there's a commonality with all of us. It just is there always.
Which war sometimes brings out, right? The patriotism.
Absolutely.
I thought it was so interesting, as you were saying, I thought it was interesting that he actually spent a lot of time looking at the opposition, eye contact with Republicans, and saying things like, look, I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for insulin to be capped. That's something I feel like everybody could almost bipartisan agree with. He asked for a unity agenda for dealing with burn pits for soldiers and looking into respiratory illnesses, like maybe his son had died also of brain cancer. They think it might be related. He talked about inflation and funding the police. A lot of things that I felt, and he was looking right at them. And as someone who's been in there for a long time, he was like, put it on my desk, I'll sign it. I thought it was a really good speech. I thought it was the right tone. Someone prepped him well. He's not Obama at all, but I thought he came in strong.
And I thought he also said, here's what I plan on doing and what bills I plan on sending out. And I'm telling you right now what I'm doing. So if they don't get signed, here we go. Like you said, to bring testing back to the United States so that we have enough, finally, after 2+ years in this pandemic, to make sure that we don't have this happen again.
Right.
And so he's telling you exactly what he plans on doing in the coming months. And we'll see if he does it, and then we'll blame whoever is not signing it because we can't move forward. Because these are things that we shouldn't be divided on, like getting tested, being healthy, making sure that we can find a cure to cancer.
Right.
These are just simple things.
Very bipartisan, I thought. Thought very good. Let us know what you guys think if you disagree or agree on YouTube or our app. Speaking of war in Ukraine, how is it going? All right, let's talk about this. So on one hand, Russia has been stepping up its bombings. That was in Freedom Square in Kyiv, targeting more government and civilian areas in major cities. They hit a TV tower in Kyiv. They even hit a maternity ward. Wow. I just think of Lindsay. But on the other side, Ukraine just had a baby, is fighting back. Check out this burnt-out convoy of Russian tanks and trucks. Ukraine has also been posting videos of captured Russian soldiers, some of them in tears, saying they had no idea that they'd be sent to war to die and had been deceived. There are also reports that Ukraine has stopped an assassination attempt against President Zelensky by a Russian death squad.
Those are the 3 scariest words I've ever seen.
Russian death squad.
That'd be a cool rock band, though.
It would. Heavy metal.
No.
I think, I didn't need to see the videos that have been coming out regarding families and children, because the minute that Colin even told me that there were separating families, I was in tears, because you just think about the human aspect of this. So as the videos come out, it's almost like, okay, this is what I imagined in my head. It was even worse in my head. And so when you said that, it resonated immediately, because I'm like, these people were not asking to go to war. I think what we need to talk about more is how the Ukrainians are stepping up and really saying, we're not just going to bow down and accept this. They've really been stepping up and saying, Russia, you're not just going to come in here and do whatever you want. And so they are fighting. It's like, an ant with a sledgehammer. Yeah. And they are still going.
It's like David and Goliath.
Right. And so
yes, Ukraine's this big next to Russia. It's enormous. And Putin thought he'd come in and wipe it down. It's all about Ukraine and their bravery.
I think we forgot that these are human beings. And like when I looked at that soldier, first of all, his age just jumped out at me. Like how young he was. And that's the thing that really bothers me about politicians and how people let them manipulate them, is it's always some rich old guy talking about we're about to go to war. Oh, are we? I think you're about to go get in your car service, and we're going to send a 20-year-old that just, should be entering the prime of their lives. We're going to send them to war. That kid didn't know where he was going, what he was doing. He has nothing to do with this. And now that phone call that he made to his mother, whether he lives or dies, will traumatize her forever. And for what?
Because of one man's ego.
We talk about this war uniting people in this country. I hope people realize how much politicians manipulate regular working class folks and send their kids to do stuff that they would never ask their kids to do. John McCain went to the military as a rich kid, and people have been talking about that for 40 years. That's how rare it is. So I don't know. It's just it's just amazing. How people let that happen.
I ain't no senator's son. It really speaks to it. Yeah. If you're not, you're going.
I don't understand why people don't demand more from there. If you're a Republican, get them to do stuff for you. They don't need to just go at AOC. They'll do stuff. pressure them.
Interesting. Before we go, we want to show you this heartwarming video. Check out these two Russian and Ukrainian opera singers who came together for an epic hug at the end of their performance in Italy on Sunday. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
I never thought about the fact that, like, how old Putin was. What would you have guessed?
I just go with 60. I just automatically
60?
to 60. I don't know why.
Putin is 16 years older than I am?
Yes, I didn't know Putin had that much Botox.
Do you think
Apparently
that's
he
Botox?
uses a lot of fillers, allegedly. Interesting.
I mean, that would
He's
make
putting
sense.
on the fillers.
You know what? Also, I wanted to know what you guys thought. Biden mentioned that it's time to get back to work and fill back up our downtowns and stop being scared to be outside because of the pandemic.
Yeah, COVID turned,
He's like,
didn't
yeah,
it?
it's a real different tone than we've
Way
heard.
different
You know, he did say we're going to be outside by July 4th like 10 years ago. But I mean, like, for real, he seemed like he wants everybody to go back to work.
Yeah, he was like,
and
it's
I was like,
changed.
you know, I've been playing double dutch. Like, I'm like kind of ready, but I also like cool with being in the house, and I'm ready to go on vacation, but also like, nah.
I've been slowly doing that.
So I don't know how I feel because
Well, you have a baby, so I
Right,
get it. And all the precautions that you take, I appreciate. I do the same, especially because I talk to y'all. You take this home. But at some point, we do have to baby step back into society.
trying that, I
And it's
think.
like after 2.5 years, things are
When?
wired into you. Like, it took me a while to just like hug people and be
Dude.
like, yo, it's good to see. It's very
It
strange.
is, and it's weird because I said to you, I think, and you guys, when I'm in the supermarket and someone comes up my aisle, or if I'm walking the dog and someone comes up my street,
You're like,
I get angry, as if
yes.
you've
Oh,
entered
yes.
my space.
I'm like, I'm on this side of the
I'm
highway.
like, get away from me!
Yeah.
Why did you? And it's not my lane.
I
That
really-
ain't my aisle.
I still struggle with that. Like,
I
on dog walks, I still get.
I'm like, why? And then I'm like, you move. I'm not moving. You cross.
But why would you go toe to toe now instead of just, if you're so worried, just move?
Because I'm sick of, I think I've just become so isolated that I don't want to see anybody on the walk.
Yeah, I think it's
I
time
don't know.
to get
I mean,
back.
it's trauma.
Yeah.
That we like have to understand.
The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
I like that line. That was the president last night standing up for the rights of transgender Americans. Speaking of which, let's talk about it because I'm sure y'all have heard about it. There is a very controversial new push in Texas to investigate parents of trans kids. Specifically, they're saying that puberty-blocking drugs or other gender-affirming medical treatments may be illegal and could be considered child abuse. At least one family is now suing the state over it. DBL Nation, we need to know what you think. Do you support this effort in Texas? Go ahead on your smartphone or right on your computer. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. We've kind of talked about this behind the scenes a little bit. Al, what do you feel about this directive that's coming from Governor Abbott in Texas? And just so you know, this woman, the mother of a transgender kid, has lost her job with the government. So CPS did visit their house and she lost her job. So they're now enforcing it.
I mean, I don't know what's going on down in Texas. This is clearly a play to his base. But I mean, if this is how you guys want your state run, I mean, here we go. If you want open carry laws so you can carry an Uzi into a target, but can't get any kind of female birth control or anything like that. This is the kind of state that you're setting up, and I'm really worried about what's going on down in Texas because I think they're setting the playbook, Lindsay, that you just play to your base. You hit the transgender. Is that the biggest thing that they're dealing with in Texas, or what is our third biggest state? Is that the biggest problem, trans teens?
Well, that was my question about why Governor Abbott was pushing so hard to get this done immediately. Like, it was so pressing. I get confused about that because when we look at things that have happened in Texas, even in the last year from that snowstorm that they were unable to handle and never came up with any conclusion on how they'll handle it in the future, since it has happened in the past, you know, that would be more pressing, I would think. And so I don't, you know, when they keep pushing these things and these bills trying to get these passed, it is kind of like pandering because nobody called for this. You know, I understand there are parents, and I understand there are ways to let your child grow up and decide how they want to live their life, or whether it's a decided decision, that's perspective. You know, there's all these different things, but this is not a pressing issue that needs to be solved.
But they made it a pressing issue, so it is. And it's a brilliant strategy, Lindsay. They set the agenda, CRT, which no one's talking about, now everybody's talking about it. Transgender kids, no one's talking about it, now everybody's talking about it. And now you can say, when you're running, my first day, Lindsay, I'm going to sign this CRT law in. My first day, I'm going to sign this abortion. And it's all people have been hearing about. And you know what they haven't been hearing about? What you just brought up.
And also, we never, just to, I'm not trying to go too far left, but to talk about critical race theory, which you're talking about, it's not like in schools you were taught that in abundance. And so the fact that there was a law for that in Texas also doesn't make sense
unnecessary
to me. Exactly.
All right, well, let me ask you this. First of all, the woman was placed on leave, a pending investigation. She didn't lose her job yet, but she is on leave. I just want to ask this. Emily on Twitter says, it does make no sense to have a 6-year-old making life-altering decisions about their body. This law would protect minors from making a mistake that could change their life permanently. What about those people that see that? Can you see that side or no?
I wonder how many 6-year-olds are making that decision, especially without their parents, you know, involvement in their physician and probably a psychologist. So I really find it hard to believe that is, you talk about finding one little straw in the entire bale of hay and being like, what about this? That whataboutism is why we never get anything done. Because anytime we try and propose anything, it's like, well, what about this random scenario?
Yeah, very fair.
It's a way to stall discussion.
Do not support, let's look at our final, do you support these efforts? Do not support. A strong majority do not, 87% to 13%. Thank you for that voting, and write us in so we can get your comments. We'll be right back. Appreciate that.
I've never really...
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
She shares platinum success with her girl group Escape. Now Candy Burrs is running her family business. Take a look.
Like myself and many of our viewers, we are excited that Escape is coming back together. We're going to expect a performance, I'm sure. Now, what needed to happen? Can you share a story with us? How did the group finally get back together?
We came back together after somebody tried to take our life story without our permission and do a movie about us. So we had not been talking for years. And we finally was like, okay, no way are we going to allow somebody else to do what they want with our life story. So we had to put a stop to that. And in order to do that, we had to come back together and fix it. So we did that. And we are happier. We get along much better now. We're doing shows together. And so it's really cool. We got some more shows coming up in May. You know, I'm excited.
I watched it, girl. I watched Escape get reunited. Yeah, I absolutely did.
Yes.
Because let me just tell you, first of all, I have to give you your flowers. I feel like I manifested you being here today. Yes, honey, yes. My She Shed studio is kind of loosely based on your home. So that's a little weird. I just want to. It totally.
Her eyes just went.
I have to see it.
I did the upholstery on the She Shed, and that was very much reminiscent of a Candy Burris moment. So thank you for that. Yes, absolutely.
She also changed her name to yours.
Yes.
That's not weird.
Now that you think I'm a stalker, no, seriously, you're the most aspirational housewife. Okay, a new reason, a new season for The Real Housewives of Atlanta is on the way. So Sheree is back, and Marlo is now an official housewife. Thank God Marlo finally got her peach. But who?
Finally.
Exactly. So who from season 14 will be the most talked about housewife and why?
I personally feel like Sheree, because she had a lot going on in her personal life that is going to play out on the show. And then also, honey, like we've been talking about She by Sheree forever. And, and we're going to finally see if it comes together. It was a few moments where I was like, girl, like you've been waiting all this time now. You better get it together.
So wait,
so yeah.
Are you saying that there's going to be a fashion show with fashion?
I guess it's safe to say because it was on the blog. Yes, She by Sheree had a fashion show with fashion. Lord, thank you. But Marlo and I, we had some real serious beef that happened this year. It was crazy. I wasn't expecting it because I was really one of the main people who were, you know, rooting for her to get her peach. And I did not think that we would have that type of a falling out.
Marlo.
Yeah, but she definitely has a lot going on. Because, another thing, I guess I could say this, I'm not sure, but, you know, for years we've heard about Marlo's mom. And we finally get to see the woman that she has been talking about all these years. So, yeah, it's a lot happening this season. Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, Candy, we got to get to your new reality show. It's all about your restaurant, the Old Lady Gang. What's the hardest part? We all worked in restaurants about working with family, let alone just coworkers. We need to know.
Oh my God. Okay, I would say the hardest part is like nobody is supposed to talk back to the Old Lady Gang. And so, but they get to say whatever they want to say, and sometimes they can not be so nice. So let's remind you of that.
Lie, it's a lie. Throw your foot down like I did before.
But the other thing is, it's like I get very sensitive about my family members. So with Todd and I, sometimes that causes an issue. But at the same time, like it's really all about the other people that work in the restaurant because they are crazy.
We can't wait.
I love it.
Yeah. We will all be watching. We look forward to it. Candy, thank you so much for joining us. Okay, DBL Nation, catch the premiere of Candy and the Gang this Sunday on Bravo. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And That is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades, until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true, gas prices are 50% higher and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Friday, the Paralympics will kick off in Beijing, and the U.S. team representing Team Toyota is proof that no matter the fall, you can always get back up. The following is sponsored by Toyota Motors.
Adversity comes in many forms. It can be an uncontrollable hardship.
I grew up with one brother and a single mother, and I actually grew up in a trailer.
It can be an unexpected misfortune.
My journey to snowboarding oddly came from being hit by a car and having my left leg amputated.
Or it can be a calculated difficulty.
I'll be 50 years old when I go to the Paralympic Games.
No matter the type of adversity, there is one thing for certain. You can allow it to make you.
I feel like I'm living the impossible.
When I first tried this, I skied straight down the mountain, crashed at the bottom, and then said, hell yeah, this is for me.
Or you can allow it to break you.
It's not always smiles and parades and gold medals. I have hard moments and hard days.
I feel like I still haven't hit my peak. I still feel like I'm learning.
I've got all the butterflies, all the anxiety, and the self-doubt starting to creep in.
But when you defy the odds, you learn that dreams really do come true.
It's good enough for the gold.
Being sponsored by Toyota is like the dream. It's like, oh, that's the goal. I finally made it.
My last lap of any race is always dedicated to my mom, but the second to the last lap that is dedicated to only Team Toyota family.
And you influence the change you need.
Paralympic movement means a lot to us. They're giving us feedback how we make mobility products and tools to help them do better in their sports.
And most importantly, you inspire generations to come with the hopes of taking home gold.
I'm feeling very prepared. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really strong.
I know I can win. I just have to go out there and I have to do it.
So I just want to say Danielle Umstead is a flag bearer for the opening ceremony this year. She's blind. And she skis down the mountain at 70 miles per hour. And her husband is her guide. And I cannot even fathom the bravery it takes to do that.
That's couples goal. I was just looking at, I saw the Rico Roman, first of all, best name ever. He also has a Purple Heart from Iraq, and he's in the Paralympic Games. It's like, yeah, nice life, bro. That's amazing.
That's not us.
We have nothing to complain about.
I know. Toyota's a $5 million stipend and scholarship program for these incredible athletes. DBL is new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
Investigates parents of trans kids. Does it go too far? Broadway legend Harvey Fierstein will be here live. He opens up about questioning his gender identity. Plus, what was it like working with Robin Williams?
Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. I was looking forward to talking to you all. Tori, you were live tweeting last night the State of the Union.
So chew. That's how you say it. So chew.
Okay, so I was watching Tori, she was on it. So a lot of you as well were talking about the president's State of the Union speech last night. He began with some tough talk on the war in Ukraine, saying Russian President Vladimir Putin is more isolated than ever and has underestimated the West. His comments were met with a rare sight in a very divided Congress. Both sides of the aisle stood to applause. Now, lawmakers from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, were also wearing stickers and pins with the Ukrainian flag showing their support. So the question is, can this war help bring our country back together? Tori, what do you make of it?
So I was really surprised to see and happy a very bipartisan State of the Union. During the first 5 minutes, both parties were lifted in unison that we've never seen before in a long, long time as Americans. And that's what war can do. Unfortunately, it can bring people together. I don't mean to exploit it in that way. But what I thought Biden did really well, first of all, his tone was excellent. He was energized. You couldn't call him sleepy. I thought he really was quite good. When he looked straight at the Republicans and said things that were no one can dismiss, meaning insulin. Can we not cap that at 35? Burn pits. Can we not get rid of respiratory illnesses for soldiers? I thought he brought up really good bipartisan points and looked directly at the Republicans. I thought it was a good speech. I thought it was the right tone, the right speech. I hated that he was interrupted a couple times, but I did think it was a really good speech.
I thought it was interesting as well, but the one part, the defund the police part, that everyone, we've had our arguments up here, and he said fund the police, and that's been my philosophy all along. Not take money away from them, but put money back into training, and I thought that was a very interesting point. We've had our discussions about that, and I wonder now where people are going, because the president said that, are people's mind changing about that? And I also respected the fact that it doesn't get a lot of coverage, that he said we want to hold social media companies accountable for what they're doing.
I thought about you.
And,
I thought about you.
it's not really picking up a lot of coverage today, but I wanted to mention it on the show because I think it's going to be a huge part of our future.
I think it's a huge part of our present, considering
Absolutely.
a lot of teens are definitely the ones that are sacrificing and suffering from too much social media or not being able to have that balance. What did you make of it, Erica?
Well, I think when we're talking perspective, I mean, even from defund the police, and you asked if that's changing people's minds, I don't believe that it is, because I don't believe that we've really come to terms with what the actual definition is. In terms of putting money and resources, the money and resources that a lot of people who are supporting defund the police are talking about is putting that money and resources into things like domestic violence liaisons, which traditionally isn't necessarily a part of the police department, but might be a subsidiary that is working in conjunction with the police department. So when it comes to putting money into those resources, I 1,000,000% agree. We need to have specialized training for specialized people in order to go out, especially for situations that aren't a traditional police protocol. When we're talking about perspective in terms of the American people, I think seeing the rallying or a round of applause and people coming together, we have the perspective, much to what you alluded to before, Tori, of the idea that you don't want to say that war brings people together because that seems insensitive, but it also brings perspective, and it shouldn't come at the cost of someone else's pain and suffering. When we're talking about, people in the streets talking about how their lives have been uprooted and, their personal liberties have been exploited and taken away, we are seeing in very real time in Ukraine, we are seeing in very real time in other countries that are experiencing unrest, what it truly means to have your personal liberties and freedoms taken away. And I think that's a perspective a lot of people came together on last night.
Well said. Speaking of the war in Ukraine, how is it going? On one hand, Russia has been stepping up its bombings, targeting more government and civilian areas in major cities. Look at that. It's so surreal. It's even hard to talk while you look at that very wow, horrific footage. They hit a TV tower in Kyiv and even a maternity ward. But on the other side, Ukraine is fighting back. Check out this burnt out convoy of Russian tanks and trucks. Ukraine has also been posting videos of captured Russian soldiers, some in tears, saying they had no idea they'd be sent to war to die and had been deceived. There are also reports that Ukraine has stopped an assassination attempt against President Zelensky by a Russian death squad.
Make no mistake, Zelensky is Putin's #1 target, and he will stop at nothing to get that done. So Zelensky is very brave to go out and still be on social media to even show where he is and not flee. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I just, when I was reading that and seeing the footage, sometimes it feels like a video game.
I know.
And it's, and it's just, I know a lot of us are just empathically suffering. We're watching it constantly. Those are humans out there. I was thinking about it last night. Can you imagine being underneath a subway station and hearing bombs while holding Layton? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Are we supporting enough? I mean, I believe in my heart that doing a smarter war where you don't put boots on the ground is a good thing. I'm not a soldier. Who am I to say that we should be out there fighting when I'm not the one sacrificing my life? And I pray, and I know this is like a new way of fighting wars with sanctions and things like that and aid, and I pray that that is the new way to fight war. But in the meantime, I can't believe we're here.
I think a lot of people have tried to introduce this conversation, and I think that the conversation can have a lot of duality. But, the fact that the media is very much, ourselves included, very much focused on this in terms of like, look, they could be us. A lot of us have felt this way for quite some time about a lot of other countries.
Yes.
And societies that have been targeted and in conflict and constantly facing the dissemination of their culture and structures. You know, I hope you made a really great point here, Sam. A couple days ago, I wasn't here, but talking about the connection of social media and how, you know, before you could create this narrative and no one would really be able to dispute it because it was the idea of the other. And we don't see that other because these are people who look like us, who live like us, who, you know, could be us. And that's where that, you know, hyper empathy is coming from so many of us. So I hope that this is a new day in terms of, you know, understanding that we are all connected and that if one of us is suffering, it's possible for any of us to be at that same
And
risk.
to your point, that needs to apply to other countries too, like Yemen, like Palestine. Not to say anything negative against Israel. Believe me, I know it's a nuanced situation, but let's remember there's a lot of suffering out there. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
Powerful. That was the president last night standing up for the rights of transgender Americans. Speaking of which, there's a controversial new push in Texas to investigate parents of trans kids. Specifically, they're saying that puberty-blocking drugs or other gender-affirming medical treatments may be illegal and could be considered child abuse. At least one family is suing the state over it. DBL Nation, we got to hear from you, of course. How do you feel about what's going on in Texas? Do you support it? Do you not? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. weigh in. I'm just going to throw out a tweet, and then I want to hear you respond to that, Tori.
Okay.
This is coming from Emily in regard to the pro-trans directive. Emily on Twitter writes us and says, it makes no sense to have a 6-year-old making life-altering decisions about their body. This law would protect minors from making a mistake that could change their life permanently.
And I want to say very clearly, I understand that that's nerve-wracking when it comes to medical things and kids before puberty. I hear that. But I also want to say that if you're a true conservative, you want government out of your business. And for someone to be conservative to say, now we're going to punish and enforce this on your parents is incredibly hypocritical, not only that, very traumatizing. If you think it's traumatizing to tell a kid that when they're trans, think about outing their parents, like this mother who is then put on administrative leave from the government. How much more abusive and traumatizing is that? This to me is a simple dog whistle. I'm trying to lead the base, I'm trying to hang red meat, and I'm trying to get elected again. That is what this is. It's constitutionally unsound. It's not even a bill, it's a directive. This will not hold up. Those children have rights too. That's all I'll say.
I like how people just like to redefine child abuse. Like, people just like to just make up their own definition for anything. Child abuse, if anyone who would throw this out here, has a lot more to do with the neglect of a child, the actual abuse of not listening to them, not caring for them. There are a lot of abused and neglected children out there, and if you are so concerned about them, there are many ways that you can get your butt on the streets and help. When you have a parent who is listening to their child, trying to find the proper resources, both physically and mentally, that is called a parent who is in tune with being a parent and loving their child. That is not to be conflated with child abuse. And I find it really interesting because anybody who would throw that word out there, that it's abusive for a parent to listen to their child and help them, I would really have to understand where they're coming from if they actually know anything about what child abuse is.
And I really wish that people leaned on the science yet again, right? There's doctors out there that have been studying this for decades, and they've actually found that it saves those children. It saves them. Our children know who they are by 4 years old, right? I tell Sophie, who do you have a crush on in your classroom? Is it a girl or a boy? Because I want to be able to her to not feel like that there's some sort of judgment or stigma societally to make her go into one box or the other. So I leave it open to her. She likes a boy right now, you know, so I feel like, okay, Sophie's heterosexual. If Sophie at a very young age, and I know someone, one of my best friends who actually leaned quite conservative, had a little girl who from a very young age wanted to dress like a boy, kept saying, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy. By the age 7, they said, okay, our child, I'm not going to say the name, is a boy. Let's look into hormones, things like that, to make sure that they're gender affirming or reaffirming I don't even know what it's called, but methodology with that doctor is the best thing for them, because there's science and data that shows if you get in there young, you can actually save their life. Because the older they get, the more stigma, it's harder to go through all those gender reaffirming surgeries, or even if it's just hormones or whatever it may be. So if you want to save your child's life, why don't we trust the science? Why does it always have to be political? Why?
Because it's a governor's race this year.
On the backs of children and their families?
Yes. Sorry, in my opinion.
All right, final vote. Let's see. So it looks like 79% of our viewers do not support it. Coming up on DBL, Harvey Fierstein is here live. We're going to talk with him next. Coming up.
I've never really...
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So, let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Daniel, hi. Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy. Oh, come here. I knew you'd understand.
Yay!
Wow.
He is the voice that legends are made of. In his new memoir, let me tell you, I Was Better Last Night, chronicles his 50 years of stardom and his struggles along the way. Harvey.
I love joining you on such a quiet news day. There's nothing else. Nothing going on in the world. What's new in the world? There was a sale on bagels today. Oh,
Yes, we've got lots to talk about. Okay, so Harvey, you know, I really want to hear your opinion. We were just talking about the anti-trans laws. As someone who fought for gay rights during the AIDS epidemic, we would love to hear from you.
Well, I got a lot to say, and I don't buy the book. But Gloria Steinem, who's one of my heroes, she wrote a book on self-esteem where she actually says children, even with the most wonderful parents in the world, don't have the language to actually express what they need, what they want. So children are struggling to say. So it is the parent's job to listen to a child, but even the best parents are going to leave those children with little holes in them of need. We're now talking about listening to children on a very difficult subject. This is not something we used to talk about. We never talked about sexuality, but we had the whole sexual revolution and all that. We got beyond the fact that homosexuality is normal, that we're all normal, that different kinds of sex are normal. We're beyond that. The kids have now decided it's time to talk about gender. Everyone's scared to talk gender. It was bad enough they wanted to talk about sex. Now we have to talk about gender. Who's in my bathroom? Who's using my bathroom? Change is frightening. That's why you have idiots wearing hats that say "Make America Great Again." They want to go backwards. You can't go backwards. There's no going back. You only have to go forwards. And most people are frightened of change. So we need to put our arms around them and tell them it's going to be okay.
There you go.
It's going to be okay, girl.
Yeah, and that's why your memoir is so important. And in it, you actually talk about when you were growing up, you questioned your own gender. If you were a kid today, do you think that you'd identify with being transgender, or what would you say to other children?
I got it. There's a line in Short Song Trilogy, the play that I wrote, and the line is, I got enough trouble with the what nows without starting in on the what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm almost 70 years old. I've been through it. And I don't know. I don't want to be a kid again or even wonder. What I want to do is listen to the young people, because the young people will guide us to where we need to go. We have to stop listening to these people who want to push us into the past. You know, I tell you, antique dealers will tell you the best way to get rich is to sell people back their childhoods. You know, that little penny toy when they were kids, they see it in an antique store, they'll pay $60 for it now. You'll get nice and rich. And they'll try to get back to where they were. But that's not living, that's dying. That's death. That's like living in a tomb. We need to constantly move forward. Look at what the next question is, take it on, face today with a smile and some bravery. Listen to the science, as your people were saying before, but listen to your children. They will lead you to the right answer.
Well, Harvey, we want to listen to you and read you. First of all, this book, the cover is amazing. Your portrait is amazing. When you first...
What about the picture on the back? What about the picture on the back? Look at that dress.
Beautiful. Okay, let's talk about the duality here. But first, you wrote about when you first got into theater. Can you share a story from your book?
I don't know. Which story would you like? I mean,
about how you wanted to play a queen.
I wanted to what?
Play a queen.
Oh. Yeah, well, you're talking about in second grade. Yeah, my friend Philomena, and we're still friends now. We've been friends since kindergarten. She was assigned, we were doing Sleeping Beauty, and she was assigned the evil witch. And I was given the role of the king. Who wants to play the king? Wrap crown, you know, and a bedspread dragging behind you. But she got to have green skin and red lips, and we went to the candy store and we got her those long black licorice fingernails. I wanted to be the evil witch. It made me. So when it came to Halloween, I painted myself all up in drag, looked at myself in the mirror and went, "This is dangerous." I knew this was dangerous. I said, "You're asking questions now that a 7-year-old should not be asking." So I just took the makeup and I mushed it down my face and I made myself into, you know, like a Night of the Living Dead monster and went off to the party. Well, so I wrote that down and I sent it to Philomena. Like I said, we're still friends. And I sent it to her. She sent back the photograph that's in the book of me, 7 years old in drag.
Wow. Okay, so we've run out of time, but hey, if you want to hear more stories, all you have to do is pick up his book.
Yes.
It's right here. Thank you so much for joining us, Harvey. DBL Nation, be sure to pick up your copy of his memoir, I Was Better Last Night. We'll be right back.
Bye,
Thank you.
Bye, cookies.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online, but if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. The celebs that can do no wrong, or can they? Why some beloved stars aren't loved by everyone, and some of the hottest looks from the Batman premiere red carpet. Tori, we're going to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow for you?
No.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. We got to talk about the Batman premiere because the stars all came out. They walked the red carpet for the new premiere of the Batman. Robert Pattinson looked dapper, you guys, in this long black trench coat. I'm feeling Peaky Blinders vibes. I'm into it. Okay, Zoe Kravitz, come on now. Took a page from her Catwoman character in this Oscar de la Renta gown. But everyone is talking about her stepdad, Jason Momoa, who came out in support with his 2 kids that he shares with estranged wife, Lisa Bonet. But he told Entertainment Tonight that Lisa couldn't be there, but he and Lisa are, quote, still family. Jason and Lisa announced their split back in January, but lately there have been rumors that the two are working things out. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
This guy just seems like a class act all around, right? I know you've met him, and I have nothing but nice things to say about him. And him, whether they're together or not together, it's about family. All this other stuff on the side that people want to talk about, Instagram about, I'm going to be there for my family no matter what people at home think about me. That's the same way Jason Momoa seems to me. He seems like a guy's guy or a woman's guy or whatever we're talking about today, that representative for that group of people. He's with me. I'm with Team Jason.
I I want Momoa of him. I would say this. You know what it is?
You had to go there, huh?
I know.
That was good.
Oh, thank you. I think he's evolved. He's just an evolved guy. It's like divorce used to be like dun dun dun, and he's just showing us a new version that's just so much more flexible, malleable, workable, and loving. And I think it's great. I think he's a cool dude.
I gotta push back on you. I'm gonna put Jason aside because you know I love Jason and I love his family. That's his ohana, as he would call them. But you got on Gwyneth Paltrow when she wanted to be very evolved about her divorce.
What did she call it?
Conscious uncoupling.
Give me a break.
First of all,
give me a holler.
You can just because I consciously uncoupled.
I know, but did you say that?
I did.
You said I consciously uncoupled.
Absolutely, I said that.
Because,
well, first of all, because every judgy Judy and Joe wants to, like you say, oh, you know, we're separated, we're divorced.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we consciously uncoupled. How about that? I absolutely said it. Yes, because it also saved me some time. I don't want to go into the X's and O's of what happened. First of all, rando who just decided to jump into my whole entire existence because you haven't seen a picture of somebody on Instagram in a year. Like, no. So I'm like, great, that worked, effective. I know a lot of people who went that same route. Yes, conscious uncoupling.
I'm not saying that.
You want some Momoa of that?
No. I'm not saying that she's wrong with the idea of it. I'm saying she always has to be trendy with the words, and I'm not going against it. It's just, it was very like a Goop article, like, let's consciously uncouple. If you said it in your normal person, that's fine. For me, it grinded my nerves.
Speaking of how certain celebrities grind people's nerves, there are some celebs out there that seem like they can do no wrong, but a recent thread on Reddit has gone viral with people calling out beloved stars that they just do not like. So first up, the Bayhive might come after this person after they said this about Beyonce, quote, I don't get why everyone is supposed to love her, and if you don't, you're some sort of Satanist. I find her music average, nothing groundbreaking, and I don't care about her personally.
There was a lot of feelings involved in somebody who claims not to care. I mean, come on. This is the same person who likely did some TikTok challenge to a Beyonce song.
Totally. I just suggest watch Homecoming. You don't have to be their biggest fan. Totally. Like, I love Justin Bieber. I'm not his biggest fan like Jeff is, but I've seen his documentaries and I can respect his hustle. Same with Kanye West. I might have certain ideas about his ego, but then I watch his documentary and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talented. He works his butt off. So watch Homecoming and tell me if you think her music is average. That's all I'll say. Okay, one person thinks Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell are a little overexposed.
Two, I'll include myself.
Okay. Writing, quote, everything I have learned about their marriage has been against my will. Tori.
You know why people are laughing? Because it's the truth. They are going on and on about their mattress rotting and they all sleep in one bed and they're in a commune and they don't wash their children and they smell. I don't need to know. Kristen Bell, I thought you were like this. It's better from afar. It's like a Monet. Up close, it's a little blurry. Far away, it's great. It's just too much, and unasked, like a U2 album on your iPhone. No one asked for that.
Yeah.
Don't they have a podcast, though?
He does, and it's a good one. I think it's Armchair Expert. Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that they're open, but it's gotten a little icky.
Oh.
Too much info.
Okay, Jeffrey, I want to hear what you think about this one. Who doesn't love The Rock? This person who said, quote, I'm so tired of hearing his I had $7 in my pocket spiel while completely ignoring the fact that he has a well-connected wrestling dynasty family and is genetically gifted.
Oh, it sounds like somebody's sad. That's what it sounds like. Listen, it doesn't mean The Rock didn't put in work, right? It doesn't mean, not comparing myself to The Rock, that I couldn't have asked my parents for something after I failed in California. You still go through hard times. You still have $7 in your pocket. You don't want those connections. You want to make it happen yourself. Again, this is my story, not The Rock's. Look at him. Is there another human on earth that looks like him? It takes work to look like that. This person looks at himself in the mirror and he's sad.
Okay, so next, even Adele, if you can believe it, has some haters. This person said, quote, I just don't love Adele. I know. Everyone talks about what an amazing talent she is, but her voice and her songs make me feel down and hopeless.
That's a you problem. No, you can't blame somebody for making you feel down and hopeless. That was you going into wherever you heard Adele. Don't be blaming Adele for your down and hopelessness, okay?
I agree with that. The songs are great when you need to kind of like have a good cry, or I'm in the shower a lot and crying. Anyone else? No one? Good.
No,
just
you're
me?
right.
Okay, but I do think, and I know you agree with me on this, that when she canceled that concert in Vegas, it rubbed people the wrong way. It really did. And for some reason, Adele was untouchable. That concert at Griffith Observatory was gorgeous. And her knowing and saying, I can't do it, and people out of money, something shifted in pop culture, I think.
I don't know if something shifted in pop culture.
I do.
I mean, if you had a ticket and you were directly involved, but I don't see the average person just being like, and remember that one time.
I think the average person sees Adele in a different light because of it, and it's like sometimes little things can just like, I think it colors her in a different light. I'm not mad she did it. I totally get it, but if I think it could have ruined.
People already forgot about that.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
No,
did.
they didn't.
All right, one more. Oprah doesn't have a fan in this person who said, quote, she doesn't seem very genuine or like she has good intentions.
That person is no longer in America. They found that person and they are gone.
They're immediately deported. What's the deportation? Oprah.
The way Oprah lights up a room, too. I mean, I know you've been to some of her events. I went with Karamo, friend of the show, to her event here, like right before the pandemic. I could not believe the time that woman takes
She's
to
blessed
meet.
so
She meets everybody. She stays there afterward as long as the last person online comes to meet her. And it's not quick. You're the one that ends up being like awkward, like, okay, well, thanks, bye. And she does that to everybody. She makes sure that you feel seen. She makes sure that you feel heard. She pinched Mark's cheeks. And it wasn't because it was just Mark and his handsome, puffy cheeks. He doesn't have puffy cheeks, but they're full. I don't know. She does that to everybody. So.
He's like a trim guy.
I know, but he has full cheeks. But she didn't do it because he has full cheeks. She did that to many people to make them feel seen. That's my point. Okay.
Wow, I'm starting to agree with that other person.
All right, coming up on DBL, a group of moms who gather together to just scream. Can I sign up with y'all? The organizer is joining us live to talk about how it all started.
Closed captioning provided by
Stand Oprah. I don't think. Oh, are we on?
A jealousy thing.
Oh, someone says my dad can't stand Oprah. Aaron said no one can stand Oprah. Where are you guys living? That is not where I'm living. My America loves Oprah. My America. I'm sorry. I don't want to be in a world in a country that doesn't love Oprah.
People who didn't grow up watching Oprah.
How could you not love Oprah?
Yeah, if you
she
grew
came
up
from nothing to do this.
Oh, one of my favorite stories, and I'm sure you've heard it because she said it many times, but just to hear it like in person when we were there, was when she said she grew up, in this house with just like 4 trees, and she couldn't believe this was actually the house that she ended up staying in, and she couldn't believe that this beautiful house, and it was a small house, mind you, but for her it was a mansion, had 4 trees, and she said to herself, one day I'm going to have 4 trees. Fast forward to Montecito, she looked around her property and she goes, I wonder how many trees I have. There are so many trees, she hired a tree counter, and then she says, side note, there really are tree counters in Montecito, California. She hired a tree counter to come to her property in Montecito, and she had like 412 trees. How amazing is that? Like, she wanted 4 trees. She got 100 times that amount. So cool.
The Oaks. The woman her name was Eileen Weiner, and she invited Oprah to her home, and she had a lot of trees, so Oprah decided that rich people have trees.
Oh my God.
And that was a sign of wealth. Yeah.
And look at her.
It's a
She's
really
got
great
Central
story.
Park in her backyard.
Yeah.
And she deserves it. And she deserves it. So, yeah, if you're not a fan of Oprah's, just like you're not a fan of Beyonce's, check out Homecoming. Watch some Oprah episodes, and I guarantee, how could you not love that person?
And listen, you can push up the Biebs a little while you're pushing everybody else.
I do love the Biebs.
Okay.
Never say never. That's the documentary.
Isn't for everyone.
New documentary that is out. That's
Yep, the saying, "I'm so mad I could scream," is being put to test by a group of moms in Boston. Recently, they took to a field to release their anger by screaming. The event was put together by therapist Sarah Harmon. Today, she's going to join us live to explain how screaming is helping moms through the pandemic. Sarah, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We cannot wait to hear more from you. These moms are screaming because they are mad. Why are they upset? And tell us more about why you're doing this.
Well, if you're a mom listening, you don't need any explanation, but you know. But why are we screaming? So many things. I mean, in the pandemic, the first one was, how do we keep our kids safe? How do we navigate these changing regulations and decision making? And then did we make the right decision after we've already made the decision? Navigating working from home, if you were able to work from home, navigating being under the same roof with your partner and your kids for way more hours than you ever signed up for. And of course, screaming for others, others that are struggling. This is very relevant now. Parents are screaming for parents around the globe, parents in Ukraine. We're screaming for parents who had their first child in the pandemic. My brother is one of them. What a hard experience for them.
Wow. Now, okay, I got to ask you this because I like how specific it is. Your moms scream in a specific way. Let's first look at this and then we'll check back in with you. Let's take a look. Okay, what is the right way to scream? Can you walk us through is it Is there a note? Is it an A flat?
There is no one right way. I do think for me it was important to create a safe container for these women and moms. It's very vulnerable to scream in a raw way like that. And so I actually did a number of screams. The first was just an open scream. Let it go. Let your body do what it knows how to do. The second one was a profanity scream, which is a fun one. All the screams that you are not able or try not to say in front of your children. The third one was a scream for all the things that were canceled. So all of us have had at least 1/a dozen things canceled, from funerals to birthday parties. And then we screamed for the people that were unable to be there, whether they were in quarantine or we knew they were struggling and they couldn't make it. And then lastly, just for fun, because we're a little competitive in Boston, we did the longest scream competition.
Nice. You screamed to Dunkin' Donuts all the way. I love Boston. The best.
Exactly.
So tell us how these screams are actually helping these moms.
Yeah, it's so intuitive, right? I mean, as in all of these interviews I've been doing, it's amazing to hear reporters say, oh, I've been screaming in my car, particularly just tired talking about COVID or just with my own frustrations. Frontline workers have been really resonating with this, just feeling this pent up rage and anger. And so it's the body's natural way of releasing emotion and emotions that have been building over the past 2 years and really beyond that. Another thing that's so interesting is that it's this full expression of our sympathetic nervous system. So it's a really intense kind of go to the peak, and then there's nowhere to go but down from there. So our relaxation response kind of kicks in and it says, okay, now it's my turn to turn on. And we feel that release and that sense of peace at the end. It's quite surprising and feels really good.
I might have to try it.
Yeah, wailing. Good for you. Yeah.
So, speaking of that, Sarah, what about Dad? Should we start a moaning group? What should we do? What should we do? Could we
not moan?
Don't moan.
My husband was like, I don't really get it, and I think that's telling in that for women, anger is a very taboo emotion. When we express anger, we're seen as crazy or overreactive. And we don't really have the natural outlets often to release our anger. So men, one of the examples I use is watch a professional hockey game. We celebrate, we let them fight. We literally let them make punches. And women don't have anything like that. And so we don't really have those ways to naturally release. So for men, I say, if you feel the need to do it, absolutely. But I think women tend to have more penned up anger and rage than men traditionally do.
I don't know. You should see me in my car after the show.
But you say you do certain things, like you have your...
Oh, for sure.
When you do your in yoga, you said that...
I don't do those. I hate people who moan in yoga. Oh, shut up. Listen, I can't stand that.
He's got anger.
No, but I do like work it out. Like I do have aggression. Obviously, you could sense it. But I do it. I get it out in the mornings and through exercise. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I thought something else if I had it.
I have a question for you. I once watched a grandmother accidentally, it's a horrible story, but there was a tragedy with her grandchild, and the only way she could cope in the grief was to wail. And it's almost like an animalistic wail. Is that the same space that you're getting to where it's like, you almost go like instinctive to like you're almost an animal? Is that where you're kind of going to?
A big part of anger is grief. And after I had the scream, I actually had a lot of women reach out to me, one in particular who said that she had a significant loss. She lost her husband when she had 3 young kids, and she screamed every day when she dropped them off from school to process that grief. So yes, because grief and anger are intertwined. And so it's a very important way to let that go and move through it.
It can be therapeutic. Amen. Thank you so much. DBL Nation, screaming is just one of the techniques Sarah teaches. If you want to learn more, visit her website, theschoolofmom.com. You can also follow her on Instagram. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me.
We all know that.
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So, let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
When you fall, do you get back up? What if the falls are in the double digits? Well, on Friday, the Paralympics will kick off in Beijing, and the U.S. team representing Team Toyota is proof that no matter the fall, you can always get back up. The following is sponsored by Toyota Motors. Take a look.
Adversity comes in many forms. It can be an uncontrollable hardship.
I grew up with one brother and a single mother, and I actually grew up in a trailer.
It can be an unexpected misfortune.
My journey to snowboarding oddly came from being hit by a car and having my left leg amputated.
Or it can be a calculated difficulty.
I'll be 50 years old when I go to the Paralympic Games.
No matter the type of adversity, there is one thing for certain. You can allow it to make you.
I feel like I'm living the impossible.
When I first tried this, I skied straight down the mountain, crashed at the bottom, and then said, hell yeah, this is for me.
Or you can allow it to break you.
it's not always smiles and parades and gold medals. I have hard moments and hard days.
I feel like I still haven't hit my peak. I still feel like I'm learning.
I've got all the butterflies, all the anxiety, and the self-doubt starting to creep in.
But when you defy the odds, you learn that dreams really do come true.
It's good enough for the gold.
Being sponsored by Toyota is like the dream. It's like, oh, that's the goal. I finally made it.
My last lap of any race is always dedicated to my mom, but the second to the last lap that is dedicated to only Team Toyota family.
And you influence the change you need.
The Paralympic movement means a lot to us. They're giving us feedback how we make mobility products and tools to help them do better in their sports.
And most importantly, you inspire generations to come with the hopes of taking home gold.
I'm feeling very prepared. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really strong.
I know I can win. I just have to go out there and I have to do it.
Wow, talk about determination. And get this, Toyota has a $5 million stipend and scholarship program for these incredible athletes.
Two of them are really incredible, including Rico Roman, who won a Purple Heart as well in the Iraq War. So imagine his mantelpiece, as Al said earlier. And also Danielle Umstead is blind. She skis downhill at 70 miles per hour, and her husband is her guide the whole way down.
To all the athletes in these games, you know what I mean? To give up is so easy, right? But to push through and persevere and become the best in the world, that speaks volumes. Congratulations to all these athletes.
Well said. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million, for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher, and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
One more story before we go. A former contestant on this season of The Bachelor reveals how much she spent to be on the show. She says she spent more than $4,000 on dresses, hair, makeup, shoes, enough to last the full six weeks on the show. But get this, she got sent home on night 1. I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah,
Are you guys surprised by this? I mean, it's...
No, not at all. Everybody's always buying things they can't afford to make it look like they can. It's very curious, though, on a show where you're supposed to end up in marriage. Why? So you introduce in, like, this is how I filed for bankruptcy? That's like a show I should host. I should host that show.
That'd be awesome.
Like how to get married after you get your stuff together through a bankruptcy.
That would be,
yes.
Do you think the show should provide it, or do you think the show understands, like, these people, they're in it for love or self-promotion, right? Because then you can make a lot of money on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. When I was on Big Brother, you can't wear white and you can't wear logos, so they took all my clothes. And my brother had to overnight some tank tops. That's why you see me in a yellow, blue, red. He got 5 for 5 from Old Navy and sent them to me. Like, dude, put a couple bucks in there. Let me look good on there. No, I got yellow tank top, blue tank top, red tank top.
That's why your shirt was always off, too, huh?
And I didn't want to wear the tank tops.
I see. Sure.
Sure. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
What we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Joe Biden sends a strong message to Russia in his State of the Union address. Can the war in Ukraine help bring America back together? There's backlash over a new order in Texas that investigates parents of trans kids. Does it go too far? Broadway legend Harvey Fierstein will be here live. He opens up about questioning his gender identity. Plus, what was it like working with Robin Williams?
Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here, drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. I was looking forward to talking to you all. Tori, you were live tweeting last night the State of the Union.
So chew. That's how you say it, so chew.
Okay, so I was watching Tori, she was on it. So a lot of you as well were talking about the president's State of the Union speech last night. He began with some tough talk on the war in Ukraine, saying Russian President Vladimir Putin is more isolated than ever and has underestimated the West. His comments were met with a rare sight in a very divided Congress. Both sides of the aisle stood to applause. Now, lawmakers from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, were also wearing stickers and pins with the Ukrainian flag showing their support. So the question is, can this war help bring our country back together? Tori, what do you make of it?
So I was really surprised to see and happy a very bipartisan State of the Union. During the first 5 minutes, both parties were lifted in unison that we've never seen before in a long, long time as Americans. And that's what war can do. Unfortunately, it can bring people together. I don't mean to exploit it in that way. But what I thought Biden did really well, first of all, his tone was excellent. He was energized. You couldn't call him sleepy. I thought he really was quite good. When he looked straight at the Republicans and said things that were no one can dismiss, meaning insulin. Can we not cap that at 35? Burn pits. Can we not get rid of respiratory illnesses for soldiers? I thought he brought up really good bipartisan points and looked directly at the Republicans. I thought it was a good speech. I thought it was the right tone, the right speech. I hated that he was interrupted a couple times, but I did think it was a really good speech.
I thought it was interesting as well, but the one part, the defund the police part, that everyone, we've had our arguments up here, and he said fund the police, and that's been my philosophy all along. Not take money away from them, but put money back into training. And I thought that was a very interesting point. We've had our discussions about that, and I wonder now where people are going, because the president said that. Are people's mind changing about that? And I also respected the fact that it doesn't get a lot of coverage, that he said we want to hold social media companies accountable for what they're doing.
I thought about you.
And,
I thought about you.
and it's not really picking up a lot of coverage today, but I wanted to mention it on the show because I think it's going to be a huge part of our future.
I think it's a huge part of our present, considering
Absolutely.
a lot of teens are definitely the ones that are sacrificing and suffering from too much social media or not being able to have that balance. What did you make of it, Erica?
Well, I think when we're talking perspective, I mean, even from defund the police, and you asked if that's changing people's minds, I don't believe that it is, because I don't believe that we've really come to terms with what the actual definition is. In terms of putting money and resources, the money and resources that a lot of people who are supporting defund the police are talking about is putting that money and resources into things like domestic violence liaisons, which traditionally isn't necessarily a part of the police department, but might be a subsidiary that is working in conjunction with the police department. So when it comes to putting money into those resources, I 1,000,000% agree. We need to have specialized training for specialized people in order to go out, especially for situations that aren't a traditional police protocol. When we're talking about perspective in terms of the American people, I think seeing the rallying or a round of applause and people coming together, we have the perspective, much to what you alluded to before, Tori, of the idea that you don't want to say that war brings people together because that seems insensitive, but it also brings perspective, and it shouldn't come at the cost of someone else's pain and suffering. When we're talking about, people in the streets talking about how their lives have been uprooted and, their personal liberties have been exploited and taken away, we are seeing in very real time in Ukraine, we are seeing in very real time in other countries that are experiencing unrest, what it truly means to have your personal liberties and freedoms taken away. And I think that's a perspective a lot of people came together on last night.
Well said. Speaking of the war in Ukraine, how is it going? On one hand, Russia has been stepping up its bombings, targeting more government and civilian areas in major cities. Look at that. It's so surreal. It's even hard to talk while you look at that very wow, horrific footage. They hit a TV tower in Kyiv and even a maternity ward. But on the other side, Ukraine is fighting back. Check out this burnt-out convoy of Russian tanks and trucks. Ukraine has also been posting videos of captured Russian soldiers, some in tears, saying they had no idea they'd be sent to war to die and had been deceived. There are also reports that Ukraine has stopped an assassination attempt against President Zelensky by a Russian death squad.
Make no mistake, Zelensky is Putin's #1 target, and he will stop at nothing to get that done. So Zelensky is very brave to go out and still be on social media to even show where he is and not flee. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I just, when I was reading that and seeing the footage,
sometimes it feels like a video game.
I know.
And it's, you know, and it's just, I know a lot of us are just empathically suffering. We're watching it constantly. Those are humans out there. I was thinking about it last night. Can you imagine being underneath a subway station and hearing bombs while holding Layton? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Are we supporting enough? I mean, I believe in my heart that doing a smarter war where you don't put boots on the ground is a good thing. I'm not a soldier. Who am I to say that we should be out there fighting when I'm not the one sacrificing my life? And I pray, and I know this is like a new way of fighting wars with sanctions and things like that and aid, and I pray that that is the new way to fight war. But in the meantime, I can't believe we're here.
I think a lot of people have tried to introduce this conversation, and I think that the conversation can have a lot of duality. But, you know, the fact that the media is very much, ourselves included, very much focused on this in terms of like, look, they could be us. A lot of us have felt this way for quite some time about a lot of other countries.
Yes.
And societies that have been targeted and in conflict and constantly facing the dissemination of their culture and structures. You know, I hope you made a really great point here, Sam. A couple days ago, I wasn't here, but talking about the connection of social media and how, you know, before you could create this narrative and no one would really be able to dispute it because it was the idea of the other. And we don't see that other because these are people who look like us, who live like us, who, you know, could be us. And that's where that, you know, hyper empathy is coming from so many of us. So I hope that this is a new day in terms of, you know, understanding that we are all connected and that if one of us is suffering, it's possible for any of us to be at that same
And
risk.
to your point, that needs to apply to other countries too, like Yemen, like Palestine. Not to say anything negative against Israel. Believe me, I know it's a nuanced situation, but let's remember there's a lot of suffering out there. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by...
Let me be.
Russia's economy is taking a huge hit from international sanctions. But why? Let's connect the dots. The U.S. and its allies have leveled harsh economic sanctions in response to Russia's attack on Ukraine. The West has cut off the Central Bank of Russia, cut Russian access to the U.S. dollar, and barred Russian banks from access to SWIFT, which is a worldwide system for banks to conduct transactions. Western allies have also frozen Russia's access to $600 billion in foreign reserves, which was supposed to be its buffer to the sanctions. And this is having a devastating effect on the Russian economy. The value of the Russian ruble plunged. Russian interest rates are soaring, and long lines formed at Russian ATMs as people try to get out as much cash as possible while they can. And the pain won't end soon. Russia doesn't have a lot of options or willing allies to help loosen the stranglehold on its economy. While China and Russia have developed close economic ties, some Chinese banks have already pushed back on processing certain transactions. And that is connecting the dots.
Officials in several states, including Virginia and North Carolina, calling on stores to pull Russian-branded products from their shelves in protest of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Recently, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper ordered the ABC Commission to suspend the approval of any products produced in Russia. But most vodka brands that have Russian roots are not made there now. Some are even produced here in the U.S. Smirnoff, which traces its name to Russia, is owned by a British spirits corporation and manufactured in Illinois. Vodka is the best-selling spirit in the U.S., according to the Distilled Spirits Council. However, Russian vodka imports have declined by nearly 79% since 2011, and now account for only a small portion of vodka sold here. So while all of the Russian vodka bans may be a nice symbolic gesture, they will have little economic impact.
the onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
Powerful. That was the president last night standing up for the rights of transgender Americans. Speaking of which, there's a controversial new push in Texas to investigate parents of trans kids. Specifically, they're saying that puberty-blocking drugs or other gender-affirming medical treatments may be illegal and could be considered child abuse. At least one family is suing the state over it. DBL Nation, we got to hear from you, of course. How do you feel about what's going on in Texas? Do you support it? Do you not? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I'm just going to throw out a tweet, and then I want to hear you respond to that, Tori.
Okay.
This is coming from Emily in regard to the pro-trans directive. Emily on Twitter writes us and says, it makes no sense to have a 6-year-old making life-altering decisions about their body. This law would protect minors from making a mistake that could change their life permanently.
And I want to say very clearly, I understand that that's nerve-wracking when it comes to medical things and kids before puberty. I hear that. But I also want to say that if you're a true conservative, you want government out of your business. And for someone to be conservative to say, now we're going to punish and enforce this on your parents is incredibly hypocritical, not only that, very traumatizing. If you think it's traumatizing to tell a kid that when they're trans, think about outing their parents like this mother who is then put on administrative leave from the government. How much more abusive and traumatizing is that? This to me is a simple dog whistle. I'm trying to lead the base, I'm trying to hang red meat, and I'm trying to get elected again. That is what this is. It's constitutionally unsound. It's not even a bill, it's a directive. This will not hold up. Those children have rights too. That's all I'll say.
I like how people just like to redefine child abuse. Like, people just like to just make up their own definition for anything. Child abuse, if anyone who would throw this out here, has a lot more to do with the neglect of a child, the actual abuse of not listening to them, not caring for them. There are a lot of abused and neglected children out there, and if you are so concerned about them, there are many ways that you can get your butt on the streets and help. When you have a parent who is listening to their child, trying to find the proper resources, trying both physically and mentally, that is called a parent who is in tune with being a parent and loving their child. That is not to be conflated with child abuse. And I find it really interesting because anybody who would throw that word out there, that it's abusive for a parent to listen to their child and help them, I would really have to understand where they're coming from if they actually know anything about what child abuse is.
And I really wish that people leaned on the science yet again, right? There's doctors out there that have been studying this for decades, and they've actually found that it saves those children. It saves them. Our children know who they are by 4 years old, right? I tell Sophie, who do you have a crush on in your classroom? Is it a girl or a boy? Because I want to be able to her to not feel like that there's some sort of judgment or stigma societally to make her go into one box or the other. So I leave it open to her. She likes a boy right now, you know, so I feel like, okay, Sophie's heterosexual. If Sophie at a very young age, and I know someone, one of my best friends who actually leaned quite conservative, had a little girl who from a very young age wanted to dress like a boy, kept saying, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy. By the age 7, they said, okay, our child, I'm not going to say the name, is a boy. Let's look into hormones, things like that to make sure that they're gender affirming or reaffirming I don't even know what it's called, but methodology with that doctor is the best thing for them because there's science and data that shows if you get in there young, you can actually save their life. Because the older they get, the more stigma, it's harder to go through all those gender reaffirming surgeries or even if it's just hormones or whatever it may be. So if you want to save your child's life, why don't we trust the science? Why does it always have to be political? Why?
Because it's a governor's race this year.
On the backs of children and their families?
Yes. Sorry, in my opinion.
All right, final vote. Let's see. So it looks like 79% of our viewers do not support it. Coming up on DBL, Harvey Fierstein is here live. We're going to talk with him next. Coming up.
I've never really been offered.
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Daniel, hi. Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy. Oh, come on. I know you'd understand.
Yay!
Wow.
He is the voice that legends are made of. In his new memoir, let me tell you, I Was Better Last Night, chronicles his 50 years of stardom and his struggles along the way. Harvey, yay!
I love joining you on such a quiet news day. There's nothing else. Nothing going on in the world. What's new in the world? There was a sale on bagels today. Oh,
Yes, we've got lots to talk about. Okay, so Harvey, you know, I really want to hear your opinion. We were just talking about the anti-trans laws. As someone who fought for gay rights during the AIDS epidemic, we would love to hear from you.
well, I got a lot to say, and I don't buy the book. But Gloria Steinem, who's one of my heroes, she wrote a book on self-esteem where she actually says children, even with the most wonderful parents in the world, don't have the language to actually express what they need, what they want. So children are struggling to say. So it is the parent's job to listen to a child, but even the best parents are going to leave those children with little holes in them of need. We're now talking about listening to children on a very difficult subject. This is not something we used to talk about. We never talked about sexuality, but we had the whole sexual revolution and all that. We got beyond the fact that homosexuality is normal, that we're all normal, that different kinds of sex are normal. We're beyond that. The kids have now decided it's time to talk about gender. Everyone's scared to gender. It was bad enough they want to talk about sex. Now we have to talk about gender. Who's in my bathroom? Who's using my bathroom? Change is frightening. That's why you have idiots wearing hats that say "Make America Great Again." They want to go backwards. You can't go backwards. There's no going back. You only have to go forwards. And most people are frightened of change. So we need to put our arms around them and tell them it's going to be okay.
There you go.
It's going to be okay, girl.
Yeah, and that's why your memoir is so important. And in it, you actually talk about when you were growing up, you questioned your own gender. If you were a kid today, do you think that you'd identify with being transgender, or what would you say to other children?
I got it. There's a line in Short Song Trilogy, the play that I wrote, and the line is, I got enough trouble with the what now, so that's starting in on the what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm almost 70 years old. I've been through it. And I don't know. I don't want to be a kid again or even wonder. What I want to do is listen to the young people, because the young people will guide us to where we need to go. We have to stop listening to these people who want to push us into the past. You know, I tell you, antique dealers will tell you the best way to get rich is to sell people back their childhoods. You know, they had little penny toy when they were kids. They see it in an antique store. They'll pay $60 for it now. You'll get nice and rich. And they'll try to get back to where they were. But that's not living. That's dying. That's death. That's like living in a tomb. We need to constantly move forward. Look at what the next question is. Take it on. Face today with a smile and some bravery. Listen to the science, as your people were saying before, but listen to your children. They will lead you to the right answer.
Well, Harvey, we want to listen to you and read you. First of all, this book, the cover is amazing. Your portrait is amazing. When you first...
Well, that's a picture on the back. We're back to picture on the back. Look at that dress.
Beautiful. Okay, let's talk about the duality here. But first, you wrote about when you first got into theater. Can you share a story from your book?
I don't know. Which story would you like? I mean,
about how you wanted to play a queen.
I wanted to what?
Play a queen.
Yeah, well, you're talking about in second grade. Yeah, my friend Philomena, and we're still friends now. We've been friends since kindergarten. She was assigned, we were doing Sleeping Beauty, and she was assigned the evil witch. And I was given the role of the king. Who wants to play the king? Wrap crown, you know, and a bedspread dragging behind you. Ugh. But she got to have green skin and red lips, and we went to the candy store and we got her those long black licorice fingernails. I wanted to be the evil witch. It made me. So when it came to Halloween, I painted myself all up in drag, looked at myself in the mirror and went, "This is dangerous." I knew this was dangerous. I said, "You're asking questions now that a 7-year-old should not be asking." So I just took the makeup and I mushed it down my face and I made myself into, you know, like a Night of the Living Dead monster and went off to the party. Well, so I wrote that down and I sent it to Philomena. Like I said, we're still friends. And I sent it to her. She sent back the photograph that's in the book of me, 7 years old in drag.
Wow. Okay, so we've run out of time, but hey, if you want to hear more stories, all you have to do is pick up his book.
Yes.
It's right here. Thank you so much for joining us, Harvey. DBL Nation, be sure to pick up your copy of his memoir, I Was Better Last Night. We'll be right back.
Bye, Harvey.
Thank you.
Bye, cookies.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher, and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Us. You can watch the second half of the show online, but if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. The celebs that can do no wrong, or can they? Why some beloved stars aren't loved by everyone, and some of the hottest looks from the Batman premiere red carpet. Tori, we're going to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow for you?
No.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham. No.
No.
Y'all, just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. We got to talk about the Batman premiere because the stars all came out. They walked the red carpet for the new premiere of the Batman. Robert Pattinson looked dapper, you guys, in this long black trench coat. I'm feeling Peaky Blinders vibes. I'm into it. Okay, Zoe Kravitz, come on now. Took a page from her Catwoman character in this Oscar de la Renta gown. But everyone is talking about her stepdad, Jason Momoa, who came out in support with his 2 kids that he shares with estranged wife Lisa Bonet. But he told Entertainment Tonight that Lisa couldn't be there, but he and Lisa are, quote, still family. Jason and Lisa announced their split back in January, but lately there have been rumors that the two are working things out. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
This guy just seems like a class act all around, right? I know you've met him, and I have nothing but nice things to say about him. And him, whether they're together or not together, it's about family. All this other stuff on the side that people want to talk about, Instagram about, I'm going to be there for my family no matter what people at home think about me. That's the same way Jason Momoa seems to me. He seems like a guy's guy or a woman's guy or whatever we're talking about today, that representative for that group of people. He's with me. I'm with Team Jason.
I want Momoa of him. I would say this. You know what it is?
You had to go there, huh?
I know. Oh, thank you. I think he's evolved. He's just an evolved guy. It's like divorce used to be like dun dun dun, and he's just showing us a new version that's just so much more flexible, malleable, workable, and loving. And I think it's great. I think he's a cool dude.
I gotta push back on you. I'm gonna put Jason aside because you know I love Jason and I love his family. That's his ohana, as he would call them. But you got on Gwyneth Paltrow when she wanted to be very evolved about her divorce.
What did she call it?
Conscious uncoupling.
Give me a break.
First of all,
give me a
holler. You can just because I consciously uncoupled.
I know, but did you say that?
I did.
You said I consciously uncoupled.
Absolutely, I said that. Because, well, first of all, because every judgy Judy and Joe wants to, like you say, oh, you know, we're separated, we're divorced.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we consciously uncoupled. How about that? I absolutely said it. Yes, because it also saved me some time. I don't want to go into the X's and O's of what happened. First of all, rando who just decided to jump into my whole entire existence because you haven't seen a picture of somebody on Instagram in a year. Like, no. So I'm like, great, that worked, effective. I know a lot of people who went that same route. Yes, conscious uncoupling.
I'm not saying that.
You want some Momoa of that?
No. I'm not saying that she's wrong with the idea of it. I'm saying she always has to be trendy with the words, and I'm not going against it. It's just, it was very like a Goop article, like, let's consciously uncouple. If you said it in your normal person, that's fine. For me, it grinded my nerves.
Speaking of how certain celebrities grind people's nerves, there are some celebs out there that seem like they can do no wrong, but a recent thread on Reddit has gone viral with people calling out beloved stars that they just do not like. So first up, the Bayhive might come after this person after they said this about Beyonce, quote, I don't get why everyone is supposed to love her, and if you don't, you're some sort of Satanist. I find her music average, nothing groundbreaking, and I don't care about her personally.
There was a lot of feelings involved in somebody who claims not to care. I mean, come on. This is the same person who likely did some TikTok challenge to a Beyonce song.
Totally. I just suggest watch Homecoming. You don't have to be their biggest fan. Totally. Like, I love Justin Bieber. I'm not his biggest fan like Jeff is, but I've seen his documentaries and I can respect his hustle. Same with Kanye West. I might have certain ideas about his ego, but then I watch his documentary and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talented. He works his butt off. So watch Homecoming and tell me if you think her music is average. That's all I'll say. Okay, one person thinks Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell are a little overexposed.
Two, I'll include myself.
Okay. Writing, quote, everything I have learned about their marriage has been against my will. Tori.
You know why people are laughing? Because it's the truth. They are going on and on about their mattress rotting and they all sleep in one bed and they're in a commune and they don't wash their children and they smell. I don't need to know. Kristen Bell, I thought you were like this. It's better from afar. It's like a Monet. Up close, it's a little blurry. Far away, it's great. It's just too much, and unasked, like a U2 album on your iPhone. No one asked for that.
Yeah.
Don't they have a podcast, though?
He does, and it's a good one. I think it's Armchair Expert. Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that they're open, but it's gotten a little icky.
Oh.
Too much info.
Okay, Jeffrey, I want to hear what you think about this one. Who doesn't love The Rock? This person who said, quote, I'm so tired of hearing his I had $7 in my pocket spiel while completely ignoring the fact that he has a well-connected wrestling dynasty family and is genetically gifted.
Oh, it sounds like somebody's sad. That's what it sounds like. Listen, it doesn't mean The Rock didn't put in work, right? It doesn't mean, not comparing myself to The Rock, that I couldn't have asked my parents for something after I failed in California. You still go through hard times. You still have $7 in your pocket. You don't want those connections. You want to make it happen yourself. Again, this is my story, not The Rock's. Look at him. He is Is there another human on earth that looks like him? It takes work to look like that. This person looks at himself in the mirror and he's sad.
Okay, so next, even Adele, if you can believe it, has some haters. This person said, quote, I just don't love Adele. I know. Everyone talks about what an amazing talent she is, but her voice and her songs make me feel down and hopeless.
That's a you problem. No, you can't blame somebody for making you feel down and hopeless. That was you going into wherever you heard Adele. Don't be blaming Adele for your down and hopelessness, okay?
I agree with that. The songs are great when you need to kind of like have a good cry, or I'm in the shower a lot and crying. Anyone else? No one? Good.
No,
just
you're
me?
right.
Okay. But I do think, and I know you agree with me on this, that when she canceled that concert in Vegas, it rubbed people the wrong way. It really did. And for some reason, Adele was untouchable. That concert at Griffith Observatory was gorgeous. And her knowing and saying, I can't do it, and people out of money, something shifted in pop culture, I think.
I don't know if something shifted in pop culture.
I do.
I mean, if you had a ticket and you were directly involved, but I don't see the average person just being like, and remember that one time.
I think the average person sees Adele in a different light because of it, and it's like sometimes little things can just like, I think it colors her in a different light. I'm not mad she did it. I totally get it, but if I think it could have ruined.
People already forgot about that.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
No,
did.
they didn't.
All right, one more. Oprah doesn't have a fan of this person who said, quote, she doesn't seem very genuine or like she has good intentions.
That person is no longer in America. They found that person and they are gone.
They're immediately deported. What's the deportation? Oprah.
The way Oprah lights up a room, too. I mean, I know you've been to some of her events. I went with Karamo, friend of the show, to her event here, like right before the pandemic. I could not believe the time that woman takes
She's
to
blessed
meet. She meets everybody. She stays there afterward as long as the last person online comes to meet her. And it's not quick. You're the one that ends up being like awkward, like, okay, well, thanks, bye. And she does that to everybody. She makes sure that you feel seen. She makes sure that you feel heard. She pinched Mark's cheeks. And it wasn't because it was just Mark and his handsome, puffy cheeks. He doesn't have puffy cheeks, but they're full. I don't know. She does it to everybody. So.
He's like a trim guy.
I know, but he has full cheeks. But she didn't do it because he has full cheeks. She did that to many people to make them feel seen. That's my point. Okay.
Wow, I'm starting to agree with that other person.
All right, coming up on DBL, a group of moms who gather together to just scream. Can I sign up with y'all? The organizer is joining us live to talk about how it all started.
Closed captioning provided by
Oprah. I don't think. Oh, are we on?
a jealousy thing.
Oh, someone says my dad can't stand Oprah. Aaron said no one can stand Oprah. Where are you guys living? That is not where I'm living. My America loves Oprah. My America. I'm sorry. I don't want to be in a world in a country that doesn't love Oprah.
People who didn't grow up watching Oprah.
How could you not love Oprah?
Yeah, if you
she
grew
came
up
from nothing to do this.
Oh, one of my favorite stories, and I'm sure you've heard it because she said it many times, but just to hear it like in person when we were there, was when she said she grew up, in this house with just like 4 trees, and she couldn't believe this was actually the house that she ended up staying in, and she couldn't believe that this beautiful house, and it was a small house, mind you, but for her it was a mansion, had 4 trees, and she said to herself, one day I'm going to have 4 trees. Fast forward to Montecito, she looked around her property and she goes, I wonder how many trees I have. There are so many trees, she hired a tree counter, and then she says, side note, there really are tree counters in Montecito, California. She hired a tree counter to come to her property in Montecito, and she had like 412 trees. How amazing is that? Like, she wanted 4 trees. She got 100 times that amount. So cool.
The Oaks. The woman whose name was Eileen Weiner, and she invited Oprah to her home, and she had a lot of trees, so Oprah decided that rich people have trees.
Oh my God.
And that was a sign of wealth. Yeah.
And look at her.
It's a
She's
really
got
great
Central
story.
Park in her backyard.
Yeah.
And she deserves it. And she deserves it. So, yeah, if you're not a fan of Oprah's, just like you're not a fan of Beyonce's, check out Homecoming. Watch some Oprah episodes, and I guarantee, how could you not love that person?
And listen, you can push up the beebs a little while you're pushing
I do
everybody
love
else.
the beebs.
Okay.
Never say never. That's the
everything
documentary.
is in for
There's a new
everyone.
documentary that is out. That's
Yep, the saying, "I'm so mad I could scream," is being put to test by a group of moms in Boston. Recently, they took to a field to release their anger by screaming. The event was put together by therapist Sarah Harmon. Today, she's going to join us live to explain how screaming is helping moms through the pandemic. Sarah, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We cannot wait to hear more from you. These moms are screaming because they are mad. Why are they upset? And tell us more about why you're doing this.
Well, if you're a mom listening, you don't need any explanation, but you know. But why are we screaming? So many things. I mean, in the pandemic, the first one was, how do we keep our kids safe? How do we navigate these changing regulations and decision making? And then did we make the right decision after we've already made the decision? Navigating working from home, if you were able to work from home, navigating being under the same roof with your partner and your kids for way more hours than you ever signed up for. And of course, screaming for others, others that are struggling. This is very relevant now. Parents are screaming for parents around the globe, parents in Ukraine. We're screaming for parents who had their first child in the pandemic. My brother is one of them. What a hard experience for them.
Wow. Now, okay, I got to ask you this because I like how specific it is. Your moms scream in a specific way. Let's first look at this and then we'll check back in with you. Let's take a look. Okay, what is the right way to scream? Can you walk us through is it Is there a note? Is it an A flat?
There is no one right way. I do think for me it was important to create a safe container for these women and moms. It's very vulnerable to scream in a raw way like that. And so I actually did a number of screams. The first was just an open scream. Let it go. Let your body do what it knows how to do. The second one was a profanity scream, which is a fun one. All the screams that you are not able or try not to say in front of your children. The third one was a scream for all the things that were canceled. So all of us have had at least 1/a dozen things canceled, from funerals to birthday parties. And then we screamed for the people that were unable to be there, whether they were in quarantine or we knew they were struggling and they couldn't make it. And then lastly, just for fun, because we're a little competitive in Boston, we did the longest scream competition.
Nice. You screamed to Dunkin' Donuts all the way. I love Boston. The best.
Exactly.
So tell us how these screams are actually helping these moms.
Yeah, it's so intuitive, right? I mean, as in all of these interviews I've been doing, it's amazing to hear reporters say, oh, I've been screaming in my car, particularly just tired talking about COVID or just with my own frustrations. Frontline workers have been really resonating with this, just feeling this penned up rage and anger. And so it's the body's natural way of releasing emotion and emotions that have been building over the past 2 years and really beyond that. Another thing that's so interesting is that it's this full expression of our sympathetic nervous system. So it's a really intense kind of go to the peak, and then there's nowhere to go but down from there. So our relaxation response kind of kicks in and it says, okay, now it's my turn to turn on. And we feel that release and that sense of peace at the end. It's quite surprising and feels really good.
I might have to try it.
Yeah, wailing. Good for you. Yeah.
So, speaking of that, Sarah, what about Dad? Should we start a moaning group? What should we do? What should we do? Could we
not moan?
Don't moan.
My husband is like, I don't really get it, and I think that's telling in that for women, anger is a very taboo emotion. When we express anger, we're seen as crazy or overreactive. And we don't really have the natural outlets often to release our anger. So men, one of the examples I use is watch a professional hockey game. We celebrate, we let them fight. We literally let them make punches. And women don't have anything like that. And so we don't really have those ways to naturally release. So for men, I say, if you feel the need to do it, absolutely. But I think women tend to have more penned up anger and rage than men traditionally do.
I don't know. You should see me in my car after the show.
But you say you do certain things, like you have your...
Oh, for sure.
When you do your in yoga, you said that...
I don't do those. I hate people who moan in yoga. Oh, shut up. Listen, I can't stand that.
He's got anger.
No, but I do like work it out. Like I do have aggression. Obviously, you could sense it. But I do it. I get it out in the mornings and through exercise. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I thought something else if I had.
I have a question for you. I once watched a grandmother accidentally, it's a horrible story, but there was a tragedy with her grandchild, and the only way she could cope in the grief was to wail. And it's almost like an animalistic wail. Is that the same space that you're getting to where it's like, you almost go like instinctive to like you're almost an animal? Is that where you're kind of going to?
A big part of anger is grief. And you know, after I had the scream, I actually had a lot of women reach out to me, one in particular who said that she had a significant loss. She lost her husband when she had 3 young kids, and she screamed every day when she dropped them off from school to process that grief. So yes, because grief and anger are intertwined. And so it's a very important way to let that go and move through it.
It can be therapeutic. Amen. Thank you so much. DBL Nation, screaming is just one of the techniques Sarah teaches. If you want to learn more, visit her website, theschoolofmom.com. You can also follow her on Instagram. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me.
We all know. Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So, let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
When you fall, do you get back up? What if the falls are in the double digits? Well, on Friday, the Paralympics will kick off in Beijing, and the U.S. team representing Team Toyota is proof that no matter the fall, you can always get back up. The following is sponsored by Toyota Motors. Take a look.
Adversity comes in many forms. It can be an uncontrollable hardship.
I grew up with one brother and a single mother, and I actually grew up in a trailer.
It can be an unexpected misfortune.
My journey to snowboarding oddly came from being hit by a car and having my left leg amputated.
Or it can be a calculated difficulty.
I'll be 50 years old when I go to the Paralympic Games.
No matter the type of adversity, there is one thing for certain. You can allow it to make you.
I feel like I'm living the impossible.
When I first tried this, I skied straight down the mountain, crashed at the bottom, and then said, hell yeah, this is for me.
Or you can allow it to break you.
it's not always smiles and parades and gold medals. I have hard moments and hard days.
I feel like I still haven't hit my peak. I still feel like I'm learning.
I've got all the butterflies, all the anxiety, and the self-doubt starting to creep in.
But when you defy the odds, you learn that dreams really do come true.
It's good enough for the gold.
Being sponsored by Toyota is like the dream. It's like, oh, that's the goal. I finally made it.
My last lap of any race is always dedicated to my mom, but the second to the last lap that is dedicated to only Team Toyota family.
And you influence the change you need.
The Paralympic movement means a lot to us. They're giving us feedback on how we make mobility products and tools to help them do better in their sports.
And most importantly, you inspire generations to come with the hopes of taking home gold.
I'm feeling very prepared. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really strong.
I know I can win. I just have to go out there and I have to do it.
Wow, talk about determination. And get this, Toyota has a $5 million stipend and scholarship program for these incredible athletes.
Two of them are really incredible, including Rico Roman, who won a Purple Heart as well in the Iraq War. So imagine his mantelpiece, as Al said earlier. And also Danielle Umstead is blind. She skis downhill at 70 miles per hour, and her husband is her guide the whole way down.
To all the athletes in these games, you know what I mean? To give up is so easy, right? But to push through and persevere and become the best in the world, that speaks volumes. Congratulations to all these athletes.
Well said. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million, for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50%. And pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher, and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
One more story before we go. A former contestant on this season of The Bachelor reveals how much she spent to be on the show. She says she spent more than $4,000 on dresses, hair, makeup, shoes, enough to last the full 6 weeks on the show. But get this, she got sent home on night 1. I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah,
Are you guys surprised by this? I mean, it's...
No, not at all. Everybody's always buying things they can't afford to make it look like they can. It's very curious, though, on a show where you're supposed to end up in marriage. Why? So you introduce in like, this is how I file for bankruptcy? That's like a show I should host. I should host that show.
That'd be awesome.
Like how to get married after you get your stuff together through a bankruptcy.
That would be.
Yes.
Do you think the show should provide it, or do you think the show understands, like, these people, they're in it for love or self-promotion, right? Because then you can make a lot of money on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. When I was on Big Brother, you can't wear white and you can't wear logos, so they took all my clothes. And my brother had to overnight some tank tops. That's why you see me in a yellow, blue, red. He got 5 for $5 from Old Navy and sent them to me. Like, dude, put a couple bucks in there. Let me look good on there. No, I got yellow tank top, blue tank top, red tank top.
That's why your shirt was always off, too, huh?
And I didn't want to wear the tank tops.
I see. Sure.
Sure. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Joe Biden sends a strong message to Russia in his State of the Union address. Can the war in Ukraine help bring America back together? There's backlash over a new order in Texas that investigates parents of trans kids. Does it go too far? Broadway legend Harvey Fierstein will be here live. He opens up about questioning his gender identity. Plus, what was it like working with Robin Williams?
Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. I was looking forward to talking to you all. Tori, you were live tweeting last night the State of the Union.
So That's how you say it, so chew.
Okay, so I was watching Tori, she was on it. So a lot of you as well were talking about the president's State of the Union speech last night. He began with some tough talk on the war in Ukraine, saying Russian President Vladimir Putin is more isolated than ever and has underestimated the West. His comments were met with a rare sight in a very divided Congress. Both sides of the aisle stood to applause. Now, lawmakers from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, were also wearing stickers and pins with the Ukrainian flag showing their support. So the question is, can this war help bring our country back together? Tori, what do you make of it?
So I was really surprised to see and happy a very bipartisan State of the Union. During the first 5 minutes, both parties were lifted in unison that we've never seen before in a long, long time as Americans. And that's what war can do. Unfortunately, it can bring people together. I don't mean to exploit it in that way. But what I thought Biden did really well, first of all, his tone was excellent. He was energized. You couldn't call him sleepy. I thought he really was quite good. When he looked straight at the Republicans and said things that were no one can dismiss, meaning insulin. Can we not cap that at 35? Burn pits. Can we not get rid of respiratory illnesses for soldiers? I thought he brought up really good bipartisan points and looked directly at the Republicans. I thought it was a good speech. I thought it was the right tone, the right speech. I hated that he was interrupted a couple times, but I did think it was a really good speech.
I thought it was interesting as well, but the one part, the defund the police part, that everyone, we've had our arguments up here, and he said fund the police, and that's been my philosophy all along. Not take money away from them, but put money back into training. And I thought that was a very interesting point. We've had our discussions about that, and I wonder now where people are going, because the president said that. Are people's mind changing about that? And I also respected the fact that it doesn't get a lot of coverage, that he said we want to hold social media companies accountable for what they're doing.
I thought about you.
And it's not really picking up a lot of coverage today, but I wanted to mention it on the show because I think it's going to be a huge part of our future.
I think it's a huge part of our present, considering
Absolutely.
a lot of teens are definitely the ones that are sacrificing and suffering from too much social media or not being able to have that balance. What did you make of it, Erica?
Well, I think when we're talking perspective, I mean, even from defund the police, and you asked if that's changing people's minds, I don't believe that it is, because I don't believe that we've really come to terms with what the actual definition is. In terms of putting money and resources, the money and resources that a lot of people who are supporting defund the police are talking about is putting that money and resources into things like domestic violence liaisons, which traditionally isn't necessarily a part of the police department, but might be a subsidiary that is working in conjunction with the police department. So when it comes to putting money into those resources, I 1,000,000% agree. We need to have specialized training for specialized people in order to go out, especially for situations that aren't a traditional police protocol. When we're talking about perspective in terms of the American people, I think seeing the rallying or a round of applause and people coming together, we have the perspective, much to what you alluded to before, Tori, of the idea that you don't want to say that war brings people together because that seems insensitive, but it also brings perspective, and it shouldn't come at the cost of someone else's pain and suffering. When we're talking about, people in the streets talking about how their lives have been uprooted and, their personal liberties have been exploited and taken away, we are seeing in very real time in Ukraine, we are seeing in very real time in other countries that are experiencing unrest, what it truly means to have your personal liberties and freedoms taken away. And I think that's a perspective a lot of people came together on last night.
Well said. Speaking of the war in Ukraine, how is it going? On one hand, Russia has been stepping up its bombings, targeting more government and civilian areas in major cities. Look at that. It's so surreal. It's even hard to talk while you look at that very wow, horrific footage. They hit a TV tower in Kyiv and even a maternity ward. But on the other side, Ukraine is fighting back. Check out this burnt-out convoy of Russian tanks and trucks. Ukraine has also been posting videos of captured Russian soldiers, some in tears, saying they had no idea they'd be sent to war to die and had been deceived. There are also reports that Ukraine has stopped an assassination attempt against President Zelensky by a Russian death squad.
Make no mistake, Zelensky is Putin's #1 target, and he will stop at nothing to get that done. So Zelensky is very brave to go out and still be on social media to even show where he is and not flee. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I just, when I was reading that and seeing the footage, sometimes it feels like a video game.
I know.
And it's, and it's just, I know a lot of us are just empathically suffering. We're watching it constantly. Those are humans out there. I was thinking about it last night. Can you imagine being underneath a subway station and hearing bombs while holding Layton? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Are we supporting enough? I mean, I believe in my heart that doing a smarter war where you don't put boots on the ground is a good thing. I'm not a soldier. Who am I to say that we should be out there fighting when I'm not the one sacrificing my life? And I pray, and I know this is like a new way of fighting wars with sanctions and things like that and aid, and I pray that that is the new way to fight war. But in the meantime, I can't believe we're here.
I think a lot of people have tried to introduce this conversation, and I think that the conversation can have a lot of duality. But, you know, the fact that the media is very much, ourselves included, very much focused on this in terms of like, look, they could be us. A lot of us have felt this way for quite some time about a lot of other countries.
Yes.
And societies that have been targeted and in conflict and constantly facing the dissemination of their culture and structures. You know, I hope you made a really great point here, Sam. A couple days ago, I wasn't here, but talking about the connection of social media and how, you know, before you could create this narrative and no one would really be able to dispute it because it was the idea of the other. And we don't see that other because these are people who look like us, who live like us, who, you know, could be us. And that's where that, you know, hyper empathy is coming from so many of us. So I hope that this is a new day in terms of, you know, understanding that we are all connected and that if one of us is suffering, it's possible for any of us to be at that same
And
risk.
to your point, that needs to apply to other countries too, like Yemen, like Palestine. Not to say anything negative against Israel. Believe me, I know it's a nuanced situation, but let's remember there's a lot of suffering out there. We'll be right back.
Closed captioning provided by
Russia's economy is taking a huge hit from international sanctions. But why? Let's connect the dots. The U.S. and its allies have leveled harsh economic sanctions in response to Russia's attack on Ukraine. The West has cut off the central bank of Russia, cut Russian access to the U.S. dollar, and barred Russian banks from access to SWIFT, which is a worldwide system for banks to conduct transactions. Western allies have also frozen Russia's access to $600 billion in foreign reserves, which was supposed to be its buffer to the sanctions. And this is having a devastating effect on the Russian economy. The value of the Russian ruble plunged. Russian interest rates are soaring, and long lines formed at Russian ATMs as people try to get out as much cash as possible while they can. And the pain won't end soon. Russia doesn't have a lot of options or willing allies to help loosen the stranglehold on its economy. While China and Russia have developed close economic ties, some Chinese banks have already pushed back on processing certain transactions. And that is connecting the dots.
Officials in several states, including Virginia and North Carolina, calling on stores to pull Russian-branded products from their shelves in protest of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Recently, North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper ordered the ABC Commission to suspend the approval of any products produced in Russia. But most vodka brands that have Russian roots are not made there now. Some are even produced here in the U.S. Smirnoff, which traces its name to Russia, is owned by a British spirits corporation and manufactured in Illinois. Vodka is the best-selling spirit in the U.S., according to the Distilled Spirits Council. However, Russian vodka imports have declined by nearly 79% since 2011, and now account for only a small portion of vodka sold here. So while all of the Russian vodka bans may be a nice symbolic gesture, they will have little economic impact.
The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families. It's simply wrong. I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
Powerful. That was the president last night standing up for the rights of transgender Americans. Speaking of which, there's a controversial new push in Texas to investigate parents of trans kids. Specifically, they're saying that puberty-blocking drugs or other gender-affirming medical treatments may be illegal and could be considered child abuse. At least one family is suing the state over it. DBL Nation, we gotta hear from you, of course. How do you feel about what's going on in Texas? Do you support it? Do you not? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I'm just going to throw out a tweet, and then I want to hear you respond to that, Tori.
Okay.
This is coming from Emily in regard to the pro-trans directive. Emily on Twitter writes us and says, it makes no sense to have a 6-year-old making life-altering decisions about their body. This law would protect minors from making a mistake that could change their life permanently.
And I want to say very clearly, I understand that that's nerve-wracking when it comes to medical things and kids before puberty. I hear that. But I also want to say that if you're a true conservative, you want government out of your business. And for someone to be conservative to say, now we're going to punish and enforce this on your parents is incredibly hypocritical, not only that, very traumatizing. If you think it's traumatizing to tell a kid that when they're trans, think about outing their parents like this mother who is then put on administrative leave from the government. How much more abusive and traumatizing is that? This to me is a simple dog whistle. I'm trying to lead the base, I'm trying to hang red meat, and I'm trying to get elected again. That is what this is. It's constitutionally unsound. It's not even a bill, it's a directive. This will not hold up. Those children have rights too. That's all I'll say.
I like how people just like to redefine child abuse. Like, people just like to just make up their own definition for anything. Child abuse, if anyone who would throw this out here, has a lot more to do with the neglect of a child, the actual abuse of not listening to them, not caring for them. There are a lot of abused and neglected children out there, and if you are so concerned about them, there are many ways that you can get your butt on the streets and help. When you have a parent who is listening to their child, trying to find the proper resources, both physically and mentally, that is called a parent who is in tune with being a parent and loving their child. That is not to be conflated with child abuse. And I find it really interesting because anybody who would throw that word out there, that it's abusive for a parent to listen to their child and help them, I would really have to understand where they're coming from if they actually know anything about what child abuse is.
And I really wish that people leaned on the science yet again, right? There's doctors out there that have been studying this for decades, and they've actually found that it saves those children. It saves them. Our children know who they are by 4 years old, right? I tell Sophie, who do you have a crush on in your classroom? Is it a girl or a boy? Because I want to be able to her to not feel like that there's some sort of judgment or stigma societally to make her go into one box or the other. So I leave it open to her. She likes a boy right now, you know, so I feel like, okay, Sophie's heterosexual. If Sophie at a very young age, and I know someone, one of my best friends who actually leaned quite conservative, had a little girl who from a very young age wanted to dress like a boy, kept saying, I'm a boy, I'm a boy, I'm a boy. By the age 7, they said, okay, our child, I'm not going to say the name, is a boy. Let's look into hormones, things like that to make sure that they're gender affirming or reaffirming I don't even know what it's called, but methodology with that doctor is the best thing for them because there's science and data that shows if you get in there young, you can actually save their life. Because the older they get, the more stigma, it's harder to go through all those gender reaffirming surgeries or even if it's just hormones or whatever it may be. So if you want to save your child's life, why don't we trust the science? Why does it always have to be political? Why?
Because it's a governor's race this year.
On the backs of children and their families?
Yes. Sorry, in my opinion.
All right, final vote. Let's see. So it looks like 79% of our viewers do not support it. Coming up on DBL, Harvey Fierstein is here live. We're going to talk with him next. Coming up.
I've never really...
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So, let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Daniel, hi. Could you make me a woman? Honey, I'm so happy. Oh, come here. I know you'd understand.
Yay!
Wow.
He is the voice that legends are made of. In his new memoir, let me tell you, I Was Better Last Night, chronicles his 50 years of stardom and his struggles along the way. Harvey.
I love joining you on such a quiet news day. There's nothing else. Nothing going on in the world. What's new in the world? There was a sale on bagels today. Oh,
Yes, we've got lots to talk about. Okay, so Harvey, you know, I really want to hear your opinion. We were just talking about the anti-trans laws. As someone who fought for gay rights during the AIDS epidemic, we would love to hear from you.
well, I got a lot to say, and I don't buy the book. But Gloria Steinem, who's one of my heroes, she wrote a book on self-esteem where she actually says children, even with the most wonderful parents in the world, don't have the language to actually express what they need, what they want. So children are struggling to say. So it is the parent's job to listen to a child, but even the best parents are going to leave those children with little holes in them of need. We're now talking about listening to children on a very difficult subject. This is not something we used to talk about. We never talked about sexuality, but we had the whole sexual revolution and all that. We got beyond the fact that homosexuality is normal, that we're all normal, that different kinds of sex are normal. We're beyond that. The kids have now decided it's time to talk about gender. Everyone's scared to gender. It was bad enough they want to talk about sex. Now we have to talk about gender. Who's in my bathroom? Who's using my bathroom? Change is frightening. That's why you have idiots wearing hats that say "Make America Great Again." They want to go backwards. You can't go backwards. There's no going back. You only have to go forwards. And most people are frightened of change. So we need to put our arms around them and tell them it's going to be okay.
There you go.
It's going to be okay, girl.
Yeah, and that's why your memoir is so important. And in it, you actually talk about when you were growing up, you questioned your own gender. If you were a kid today, do you think that you'd identify with being transgender, or what would you say to other children?
I got it. There's a line in Short Song Trilogy, the play that I wrote, and the line is, I got enough trouble with the what nows without starting in on the what ifs. I don't know. I'm almost 70 years old. I've been through it. And I don't know. I don't want to be a kid again or even wonder. What I want to do is listen to the young people, because the young people will guide us to where we need to go. We have to stop listening to these people who want to push us into the past. You know, I tell you, antique dealers will tell you the best way to get rich is to sell people back their childhoods. You know, a little penny toy when they were kids. They see it in an antique store. They'll pay $60 for it now. You'll get nice and rich. And they'll try to get back to where they were. But that's not living. That's dying. That's death. That's like living in a tomb.
No,
We need to constantly move forward. Look at what the next question is. Take it on. Face today with a smile and some bravery. Listen to the science, as your people were saying before, but listen to your children. They will lead you to the right answer.
Well, Harvey, we want to listen to you and read you. First of all, this book, the cover is amazing. Your portrait is amazing. When you first...
What about the picture on the back? What about the picture on the back? Look at that dress.
Beautiful. Okay, let's talk about the duality here. But first, you wrote about when you first got into theater. Can you share a story from your book?
I don't know. Which story would you like? I mean,
about how you wanted to play a queen.
I wanted to what?
Play a queen.
Yeah, well, you're talking about in second grade. Yeah, my friend Philomena, and we're still friends now. We've been friends since kindergarten. She was assigned, we were doing Sleeping Beauty, and she was assigned the evil witch. And I was given the role of the king. Who wants to play the king? Wrap crown, you know, and a bedspread dragging behind you. But she got to have green skin and red lips, and we went to the candy store and we got her those long black licorice fingernails. I wanted to be the evil witch. It made me. So when it came to Halloween, I painted myself all up in drag, looked at myself in the mirror and went, "This is dangerous." I knew this was dangerous. I said, "You're asking questions now that a 7-year-old should not be asking." So I just took the makeup and I mushed it down my face and I made myself into, you know, like a Night of the Living Dead monster and went off to the party. Well, so I wrote that down and I sent it to Philomena. Like I said, we're still friends. And I sent it to her. She sent back the photograph that's in the book of me, 7 years old in drag.
Wow. Okay, so we've run out of time, but hey, if you want to hear more stories, all you have to do is pick up his book.
Yes.
It's right here. Thank you so much for joining us, Harvey. DBL Nation, be sure to pick up your copy of his memoir, I Was Better Last Night. We'll be right back.
Bye,
Thank
Harvey.
you.
Bye, cookies.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50% and pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher, and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online, but if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. The celebs that can do no wrong, or can they? Why some beloved stars aren't loved by everyone, and some of the hottest looks from the Batman premiere red carpet. Tori, we're going to talk about Gwyneth Paltrow for you?
No.
Amid the sea of images and videos depicting the current Russian invasion of Ukraine, Verify has spotted one that isn't what it seems. This video, posted to Twitter, claims to show, quote, the moment a Russian pilot was ejected and landed in Ukrainian territory, unquote. But is that true? Let's verify. We went to these sources for an answer. The Twitter video that we're fact-checking is on the left. Verify found the same video was posted to TikTok back in July of 2021, which was well before Russia invaded Ukraine. About 3 seconds into the video, the letters on the white and yellow building become visible. Using Google Maps, Verify matched the building in the video to this one, located in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It houses a portion of the Parachute Infantry Brigade, a branch of the Brazilian military. You can see the building in the picture here on the brigade's website. So we can verify, no. This video does not show a Russian pilot landing in Ukrainian territory. It was filmed in Brazil at least 6 months ago. With your Fast Fact, I'm Ariane Till.
According to the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing, the price of gas is determined by a few things, and it can change from one station to another. First, the price of crude oil accounts for nearly 70% of what you pay at the pump. Second, distribution. Moving crude oil gets expensive. It goes from a refinery through a pipeline or across an ocean onto a truck that moves it to a station. Once there, individual contracts between rigs and gas stations can differ a lot. Third, before a station puts up the numbers on the big marquee, they must add taxes. And finally, we can't forget the profits. Like any business, making money is the aim of station owners.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. We got to talk about the Batman premiere because the stars all came out. They walked the red carpet for the new premiere of the Batman. Robert Pattinson looked dapper, you guys, in this long black trench coat. I'm feeling Peaky Blinders vibes. I'm into it. Okay, Zoe Kravitz, come on now. Took a page from her Catwoman character in this Oscar de la Renta gown. But everyone is talking about her stepdad, Jason Momoa, who came out in support with his 2 kids that he shares with estranged wife Lisa Bonet. But he told Entertainment Tonight that Lisa couldn't be there, but he and Lisa are, quote, still family. Jason and Lisa announced their split back in January, but lately there have been rumors that the two are working things out. You're shaking your head, Jeff.
This guy just seems like a class act all around, right? I know you've met him, and I have nothing but nice things to say about him. And him, whether they're together or not together, It's about family. All this other stuff on the side that people want to talk about, Instagram about, I'm going to be there for my family no matter what people at home think about me. That's the same way Jason Momoa seems to me. He seems like a guy's guy or a woman's guy or whatever we're talking about today, that representative for that group of people. He's with me. I'm with Team Jason.
I want Momoa of him. I would say this. You know what it is?
You had to go there, huh?
I know.
That was good.
Oh, thank you. I think he's evolved. He's just an evolved guy. It's like divorce used to be like dun dun dun, and he's just showing us a new version that's just so much more flexible, malleable, workable, and loving. And I think it's great. I think he's a cool dude.
I gotta push back on you. I'm gonna put Jason aside because you know I love Jason and I love his family. That's his ohana, as he would call them. But you got on Gwyneth Paltrow when she wanted to be very evolved about her divorce.
What did she call it?
Conscious uncoupling.
Give me a break.
First of all,
give me a
okay. You can just. Because I consciously uncoupled.
I know, but did you say that?
I did.
You said I consciously uncoupled.
Absolutely, I said that. Because, well, first of all, because every Judgy, Judy, and Joe wants to, like you say, oh, you know, we're separated, we're divorced.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we consciously uncoupled. How about that? I absolutely said it. Yes, because it also saved me some time. I don't want to go into the X's and O's of what happened. First of all, rando who just decided to jump into my whole entire existence because you haven't seen a picture of somebody on Instagram in a year. Like, no. So I'm like, great, that worked, effective. I know a lot of people who went that same route. Yes, conscious uncoupling.
I'm not saying that.
You want some Momoa that?
No. I'm not saying that she's wrong with the idea of it. I'm saying she always has to be trendy with the words, and I'm not going against it. It's just, it was very like a Goop article, like, let's consciously uncouple. If you said it in your normal person, that's fine. For me, it grinded my nerves.
Speaking of how certain celebrities grind people's nerves, there are some celebs out there that seem like they can do no wrong, but a recent thread on Reddit has gone viral with people calling out beloved stars that they just do not like. So first up, the Bayhive might come after this person after they said this about Beyonce, quote, I don't get why everyone is supposed to love her, and if you don't, you're some sort of Satanist. I find her music average, nothing groundbreaking, and I don't care about her personally.
There was a lot of feelings involved in somebody who claims not to care. I mean, come on. This is the same person who likely did some TikTok challenge to a Beyonce song.
Totally. I just suggest watch Homecoming. You don't have to be their biggest fan. Totally. Like, I love Justin Bieber. I'm not his biggest fan like Jeff is, but I've seen his documentaries and I can respect his hustle. Same with Kanye West. I might have certain ideas about his ego, but then I watch his documentary and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's talented. He works his butt off. So watch Homecoming and tell me if you think her music is average. That's all I'll say. Okay, one person thinks Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell are a little overexposed.
Two, I'll include myself.
Okay. Writing, quote, everything I have learned about their marriage has been against my will. Tori.
You know why people are laughing? Because it's the truth. They are going on and on about their mattress rotting and they all sleep in one bed and they're in a commune and they don't wash their children and they smell. I don't need to know. Kristen Bell, I thought you were like this. It's better from afar. It's like a Monet. Up close, it's a little blurry. Far away, it's great. It's just too much, and unasked, like a U2 album on your iPhone. No one asked for that.
Yeah.
Don't they have a podcast, though?
He does, and it's a good one. I think it's Armchair Expert. Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that they're open, but it's gotten a little icky.
Oh.
Too much info.
Okay, Jeffrey, I want to hear what you think about this one. Who doesn't love The Rock? This person who said, quote, I'm so tired of hearing his I had $7 in my pocket spiel while completely ignoring the fact that he has a well-connected wrestling dynasty family and is genetically gifted.
Oh, it sounds like somebody's sad. That's what it sounds like. Listen, it doesn't mean The Rock didn't put in work, right? It doesn't mean, not comparing myself to The Rock, that I couldn't have asked my parents for something after I failed in California. You still go through hard times. You still have $7 in your pocket. You don't want those connections. You want to make it happen yourself. Again, this is my story, not The Rock's. Look at him. He is Is there another human on earth that looks like him? It takes work to look like that. This person looks at himself in the mirror and he's sad.
Okay, so next, even Adele, if you can believe it, has some haters. This person said, quote, I just don't love Adele. I know. Everyone talks about what an amazing talent she is, but her voice and her songs make me feel down and hopeless.
That's a you problem. No, you can't blame somebody for making you feel down and hopeless. That was you going into wherever you heard Adele. Don't be blaming Adele for your down and hopelessness, okay?
I agree with that. The songs are great when you need to kind of like have a good cry, or I'm in the shower a lot and crying. Anyone else? No one? Good,
no,
just
you're
me?
right.
Okay, but I do think, and I know you agree with me on this, that when she canceled that concert in Vegas, it rubbed people the wrong way. It really did. And for some reason, Adele was untouchable. That concert at Griffith Observatory was gorgeous. And her knowing and saying, I can't do it, and people out of money, something shifted in pop culture, I think.
I don't know if something shifted in pop culture.
I do.
I mean, if you had a ticket and you were directly involved, but I don't see the average person just being like, and remember that one time.
I think the average person sees Adele in a different light because of it, and it's like sometimes little things can just like, I think it colors her in a different light. I'm not mad she did it. I totally get it, but if I think it could have ruined.
People already forgot about that.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they
No,
did.
they didn't.
All right, one more. Oprah doesn't have a fan of this person who said, quote, she doesn't seem very genuine or like she has good intentions.
That person is no longer in America. They found that person and they are gone.
They're immediately deported. What's the deportation? Oprah.
The way Oprah lights up a room, too. I mean, I know you've been to some of her events. I went with Karamo, friend of the show, to her event here, like right before the pandemic. I could not believe the time that woman takes
She's
to
blessed
meet.
She
meets everybody. She stays there afterward as long as the last person online comes to meet her. And it's not quick. You're the one that ends up being like awkward, like, okay, well, thanks, bye. And she does that to everybody. She makes sure that you feel seen. She makes sure that you feel heard. She pinched Mark's cheeks. And it wasn't because it was just Mark and his handsome, puffy cheeks. He doesn't have puffy cheeks, but they're full. I don't know. She does that to everybody. So, stop.
He's like a trim guy.
I know, but he has full cheeks. But she didn't do it because he has full cheeks. She did that to many people to make them feel seen. That's my point. Okay.
Wow, I'm starting to agree with that other person.
All right, coming up on DBL, a group of moms who gather together to just scream. Can I sign up with y'all? The organizer is joining us live to talk about how it all started.
Closed captioning provided by
Oprah. I don't think. Oh, are we on?
A jealousy thing.
Oh, someone says my dad can't stand Oprah. Aaron said no one can stand Oprah. Where are you guys living? That is not where I'm living. My America loves Oprah. My America. I'm sorry. I don't want to be in a country that doesn't love Oprah.
People who didn't grow up watching Oprah.
How could you not love Oprah?
Yeah, if you
she
grew
came
up
from nothing to do this.
Oh, one of my favorite stories, and I'm sure you've heard it because she said it many times, but just to hear it like in person when we were there, was when she said she grew up, in this house with just like 4 trees, and she couldn't believe this was actually the house that she ended up staying in, and she couldn't believe that this beautiful house, and it was a small house, mind you, but for her it was a mansion, had 4 trees, and she said to herself, one day I'm going to have 4 trees. Fast forward to Montecito, she looked around her property and she goes, I wonder how many trees I have. There are so many trees, she hired a tree counter, and then she says, side note, there really are tree counters in Montecito, California. She hired a tree counter to come to her property in Montecito, and she had like 412 trees. How amazing is that? Like, she wanted 4 trees. She got 100 times that amount. So cool.
The Oaks. The woman her name was Eileen Weiner, and she invited Oprah to her home, and she had a lot of trees, so Oprah decided that rich people have trees.
Oh my God.
And that was a sign of wealth. Yeah.
And look at her.
It's a
She's
really
got
great
Central
story.
Park in her backyard.
Yeah.
And she deserves it. So, yeah, if you're not a fan of Oprah's, just like you're not a fan of Beyonce's, check out Homecoming. Watch some Oprah episodes, and I guarantee, how could you not love that person?
And listen, you can push up the beebs a little while you're pushing
I do
everybody
love
else.
the beebs.
Okay.
Never say never. That's the
Everything
documentary.
is in for
There's a new
everyone.
documentary that is out. That's what
Yep, the saying, "I'm so mad I could scream," is being put to test by a group of moms in Boston. Recently, they took to a field to release their anger by screaming. The event was put together by therapist Sarah Harmon. Today, she's going to join us live to explain how screaming is helping moms through the pandemic. Sarah, hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We cannot wait to hear more from you. These moms are screaming because they are mad. Why are they upset? And tell us more about why you're doing this.
Well, if you're a mom listening, you don't need any explanation, but you know. But why are we screaming? So many things. I mean, in the pandemic, the first one was, how do we keep our kids safe? How do we navigate these changing regulations and decision making? And then did we make the right decision after we've already made the decision? Navigating working from home, if you were able to work from home, navigating being under the same roof with your partner and your kids for way more hours than you ever signed up for. And of course, screaming for others, others that are struggling. This is very relevant now. Parents are screaming for parents around the globe, parents in Ukraine. We're screaming for parents who had their first child in the pandemic. My brother is one of them. What a hard experience for them.
Wow. Now, okay, I got to ask you this because I like how specific it is. Your moms scream in a specific way. Let's first look at this and then we'll check back in with you. Let's take a look. Okay, what is the right way to scream? Can you walk us through is it Is there a note? Is it an A flat?
There is no one right way. I do think for me it was important to create a safe container for these women and moms. It's very vulnerable to scream in a raw way like that. And so I actually did a number of screams. The first was just an open scream. Let it go. Let your body do what it knows how to do. The second one was a profanity scream, which is a fun one. All the screams that you are not able or try not to say in front of your children. The third one was a scream for all the things that were canceled. So all of us have had at least 1/a dozen things canceled, from funerals to birthday parties. And then we screamed for the people that were unable to be there, whether they were in quarantine or we knew they were struggling and they couldn't make it. And then lastly, just for fun, because we're a little competitive in Boston, we did the longest scream competition.
Nice. Nice. You screamed to Dunkin' Donuts all the way. I love Boston. The best.
Exactly.
So tell us how these screams are actually helping these moms.
Yeah, it's so intuitive, right? I mean, as in all of these interviews I've been doing, it's amazing to hear reporters say, oh, I've been screaming in my car, particularly just tired talking about COVID or just with my own frustrations. Frontline workers have been really resonating with this, just feeling this pent up rage and anger. And so it's the body's natural way of releasing emotion and emotions that have been building over the past 2 years and really beyond that. Another thing that's so interesting is that it's this full expression of our sympathetic nervous system. So it's a really intense kind of go to the peak, and then there's nowhere to go but down from there. So our relaxation response kind of kicks in and it says, okay, now it's my turn to turn on. And we feel that release and that sense of peace at the end. It's quite surprising and feels really good.
I might have to try it.
Yeah, wailing. Good for you. Yeah.
So, speaking of that, Sarah, what about Dad? Should we start a moaning group? What should we do? What should we do? Could we
not moan?
Don't moan.
My husband is like, I don't really get it, and I think that's telling in that for women, anger is a very taboo emotion. When we express anger, we're seen as crazy or overreactive. And we don't really have the natural outlets often to release our anger. So men, one of the examples I use is watch a professional hockey game. We celebrate, we let them fight. We literally let them make punches. And women don't have anything like that. And so we don't really have those ways to naturally release. So for men, I say, if you feel the need to do it, absolutely. But I think women tend to have more penned up anger and rage than men traditionally do.
I don't know. You should see me in my car after the show.
But you say you do certain things, like you have your...
Oh, for sure.
When you do your in yoga, you said that...
I don't do those. I hate people who moan in yoga. Oh, shut up. Listen, I can't stand that.
He's got anger.
No, but I do like work it out. Like I do have aggression. Obviously, you could sense it. But I do it. I get it out in the mornings and through exercise. You know.
Yes. Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
I thought something else if I had it.
I have a question for you. I once watched a grandmother accidentally, it's a horrible story, but there was a tragedy with her grandchild, and the only way she could cope in the grief was to wail. And it's almost like an animalistic wail. Is that the same space that you're getting to where it's like, you almost go like instinctive to like you're almost an animal? Is that where you're kind of going to?
A big part of anger is grief. And after I had the scream, I actually had a lot of women reach out to me, one in particular who said that she had a significant loss. She lost her husband when she had 3 young kids, and she screamed every day when she dropped them off from school to process that grief. So yes, because grief and anger are intertwined. And so it's a very important way to let that go and move through it.
It can be therapeutic. Amen. Thank you so much. DBL Nation, screaming is just one of the techniques Sarah teaches. If you want to learn more, visit her website, theschoolofmom.com. You can also follow her on Instagram. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks for having me.
We all know that
Amid the attacks in Ukraine by Russia, Ukraine's Minister of Foreign Affairs tweeted that, quote, Russian attacks on a kindergarten and an orphanage are war crimes. Soon after, the United Nations began discussing whether to investigate Russia's actions. Verify viewer Connie wants to know, does the UN have the authority to charge someone with war crimes? So, let's verify. Our sources are the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, Trial International, and Michael Scharf, Dean of the Case Western Reserve University School of Law, who has helped war crimes prosecutors research their cases. The concept of war crimes was created in the late 1800s, and today the UN generally explains it's when a warring party, like a country, systematically targets civilians.
They are not following the laws of war. They are being indiscriminate against the civilian population and military objects.
Trial International tells Verify in a statement that the UN can refer cases to the ICC and help prosecutors gather evidence, but it cannot prosecute cases on its own. The ICC and local court systems can prosecute individuals for war crimes, including the leaders who give the orders or soldiers who follow the commands. So, no, the UN does not have the authority to charge someone with war crimes, but it can make it easier for international prosecutors to make their case. ICC prosecutor Karim A.A. Khan said on February 28th he will open an investigation into the attacks in Ukraine because he believes war crimes and crimes against humanity have been committed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
When you fall, do you get back up? What if the falls are in the double digits? Well, on Friday, the Paralympics will kick off in Beijing, and the U.S. team representing Team Toyota is proof that no matter the fall, you can always get back up. The following is sponsored by Toyota Motors. Take a look.
Adversity comes in many forms. It can be an uncontrollable hardship.
I grew up with one brother and a single mother, and I actually grew up in a trailer.
It can be an unexpected misfortune.
My journey to snowboarding oddly came from being hit by a car and having my left leg amputated.
Or it can be a calculated difficulty.
I'll be 50 years old when I go to the Paralympic Games.
No matter the type of adversity, there is one thing for certain. You can allow it to make you.
I feel like I'm living the impossible.
When I first tried this, I skied straight down the mountain, crashed at the bottom, and then said, hell yeah, this is for me.
Or you can allow it to break you.
it's not always smiles and parades and gold medals. I have hard moments and hard days.
I feel like I still haven't hit my peak. I still feel like I'm learning.
I've got all the butterflies, all the anxiety, and the self-doubt starting to creep in.
But when you defy the odds, you learn that dreams really do come true.
It's good enough for the gold.
Being sponsored by Toyota is like the dream. It's like, oh, that's the goal. I finally made it.
My last lap of any race is always dedicated to my mom, but the second to the last lap that is dedicated to only Team Toyota family.
And you influence the change you need.
The Paralympic movement means a lot to us. They're giving us feedback on how we make mobility products and tools to help them do better in their sports.
And most importantly, you inspire generations to come with the hopes of taking home gold.
I'm feeling very prepared. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really strong.
I know I can win. I just have to go out there and I have to do it.
Wow, talk about determination. And get this, Toyota has a $5 million stipend and scholarship program for these incredible athletes.
Two of them are really incredible, including Rico Roman, who won a Purple Heart as well in the Iraq War. So imagine his mantelpiece, as Al said earlier. And also Danielle Umstead is blind. She skis downhill at 70 miles per hour, and her husband is her guide the whole way down.
To all the athletes in these games, you know what I mean? To give up is so easy, right? But to push through and persevere and become the best in the world, that speaks volumes. Congratulations to all these athletes.
Well said. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
President Joe Biden took to the House floor to deliver his first State of the Union address Tuesday night. The president touted the strong economic recovery underway in the U.S. following the pandemic.
We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America.
So let's verify. Did the American economy gain more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021? And was that the largest increase for a year ever? Our source is the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. According to those figures, at the end of 2020, there were more than 142 million total employees in the U.S. By the end of 2021, that number rose to about 149 million, for a total increase of more than 6.6 million jobs. And that is indeed the largest single-year increase since the BLS began reporting the total number of U.S. employees in 1939. So we can verify, yes, the U.S. gained more than 6.5 million jobs in 2021, more than any prior year. But this claim also requires important context. That economic recovery was already well underway before President Biden took office. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds delivered the Republican response, where she blamed Democrats for rising prices.
They plowed ahead anyway, raising the price at the pump by 50%. And pushing inflation to a 40-year high.
So let's verify. Are gas prices 50% higher, and is inflation at a 40-year high? Our sources are GasBuddy.com, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. When Biden took office, both GasBuddy and the EIA show the average gallon of gas in the U.S. was about $2.40. Today, both sources say the average price at the pump is $3.60, an increase of exactly 50%. Next, let's look at inflation numbers from the BLS, which tracks the change in prices paid by American consumers compared to 12 months earlier. Prices increased rapidly in the 1980s, but then settled to around 3% for decades until 2021, when we began seeing prices spike again. In January, prices were up 7.5%, the most in 40 years. So it's true. Gas prices are 50% higher, and inflation is at a 40-year high. We fact-checked more claims about the State of the Union and Republican response at verifythis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
One more story before we go. A former contestant on this season of The Bachelor reveals how much she spent to be on the show. She says she spent more than $4,000 on dresses, hair, makeup, shoes, enough to last the full six weeks on the show. But get this, she got sent home on night 1. I'm not surprised by this.
Yeah,
Are you guys surprised by this? I mean, it's...
No, not at all. Everybody's always buying things they can't afford to make it look like they can. It's very curious, though, on a show where you're supposed to end up in marriage. Why? So you introduce in, like, this is how I file for bankruptcy? That's like a show I should host. I should host that show.
That'd be awesome.
Like how to get married after you get your stuff together through a bankruptcy.
That would be. Yes. Do you think the show should provide it, or do you think the show understands, like, these people, they're in it for love or self-promotion, right? Because then you can make a lot of money on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. When I was on Big Brother, you can't wear white and you can't wear logos, so they took all my clothes. And my brother had to overnight some tank tops. That's why you see me in a yellow, blue, red. He got 5 for 5 from Old Navy and sent them to me. Like, dude, put a couple bucks in there. Let me look good on there. No, I got yellow tank top, blue tank top, red tank top.
That's why your shirt was always off, too, huh?
And I didn't want to wear the tank tops.
I see. Sure. Sure. DBL's new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.